Where is he doing it from his sex dungeon?
What?
What's he
I
doing?
don't know what's happening. Trash to Cash podcast. What episode is this, Cary?
It's like 230, maybe like
No,
240ish.
it's one something.
I don't know.
100 and something. I'm Dave the ADHD
Kevin
guy.
had to kick all the swingers out so he could do it in the.
Yeah,
in the old
you would not
lounge.
believe how many people fit on that little chair he's got there. It's actually a
Exactly.
beanbag.
What is he doing? Why?
You know
What's going on?
He was here a minute ago, guys.
He was.
We started the show because we had all the people here. We were ready to go. Then Kevin just randomly appears in someone else's house. I don't know what's happening.
Look at
There
this.
he is. Look at him. He's got his Corky shirt on. Who's Corky?
He played college or high school baseball with Corky Miller, and he's very proud of that.
Kevin did?
Corky ended up playing pros. Kevin, because he's so short and not athletic, he did not. But Corky
Does
did.
height really matter in baseball?
Well, you know,
This is the number one reason.
it's not always about the size of the stick, but it's or the bat. It's how you use it, and he didn't have either. He didn't have the size or the use.
Doesn't know how to use it to this day. Oh, he's yelling at one of his employees.
Oh no! Employee Heather's
Dude,
in
you know
trouble.
What? It just registered. I know exactly where he is. That's the
He's
bottom
downstairs.
of his steps.
Yeah, he's
that's
in
the
his
bottom of his steps. Turner's over there to the left playing Fortnite.
Probably he's playing Madden
Reagan's
like
doing
16
backflips.
because Kevin won't buy him the new Madden. So Turner's playing like Madden 16.
I got you that one for 50 cents.
Yeah,
at
this
the
was
Goodwill.
50 cents. You don't get the new Madden, Turner. You got to play the old one.
Hi, Kevin.
Hey, Kev.
Thanks for starting without me, y'all.
Oh, no problem. We
Welcome
weren't
to the
talking
Trash
about
to Cash
you.
podcast.
See that
Welcome,
retention
buddy.
rate just plummet.
Hey,
Yeah, well,
you know
yeah.
what, Kevin?
Once you joined, yeah.
This is episode 133B. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Did you see what we
133B.
did? I wanted to see if you'd notice. I didn't mention it to you. Did you see what me and Cary did?
Yes, I did, and I haven't
yeah.
even
Oh.
spoken to you about it. It's
Yeah.
I haven't
ridiculous.
said a word.
We got to
And I
tell the
haven't even
people
listened to it
because they don't
because-
even know, do they?
Did you listen to it? You said no?
I haven't even listened to it yet.
We made a secret podcast episode, and we didn't even invite Kevin.
Yeah, no, Kevin wasn't invited to this.
And the-
And it was, oh, man. It was salacious. It
I
was
will
actually
say,
pretty tame.
listen.
We talked a lot of reselling, weirdly.
I will say, I talked to Kevin that day, like an hour before, and he was like, I'm so busy today. I'm trying to get everything ready, and blah, blah, blah. He's like running around. I'm like, I'm not even going to ask him. I'm just going to do it with Cary. It's all right. It was
Well, thank
Thursday
you
or
for
Wednesday
that.
night. Yeah, you were very busy.
I had to
preparing.
switch into my basement, unfortunately,
I
because
see
the
that.
internet's brutal. But I don't have a computer, so I'm gonna have to get it in a minute. I need to get my
That's
computer.
all right.
in,
That's
so.
okay. So you
He
didn't
doesn't have
listen to
his
the
notes
secret
or
episode.
anything.
Now, I will say, the secret episode, me and Cary were trying to give back to the Patreons, to the supporters, Kev, and so it's like it's a Patreon episode. We're still doing our normal amount of episodes, but we said
Did
you know, why don't
anybody
we-
listen to it? Did you
Yeah,
get
I mean,
comments or what?
On the Patreon, we had comments. Yeah, on the So listen, okay, so I did a
be
lot of
hon-
things.
I feel like you're not being honest.
I did a lot of things without permission. Okay, so obviously I recorded this episode without permission. I turned
I
on
was
channel
there.
memberships without permission on our podcast
We're
channel.
looking for other monetization
So I can no
approaches.
longer say that I don't do channel memberships.
We have a member, Des Hardy. Thank you for being the very first trash bag over on YouTube.
Yeah, you're a first trash bag, and you get to
Trash
see our
bag?
secret podcast, which we may or may not be doing a lot or
Yeah,
often.
well,
we
listen,
don't know yet.
listen. Okay, the reason
I'm
I did
down.
that is because actually Des is the reason I did it. Des doesn't really like using Patreon. And so she's asked me before if we could do things like on the YouTube. And I was thinking of her, and the other people have told me they don't want to go sign up for Patreon. It's complicated. They don't want to figure it out. And I was like, man, we got this like super secret episode that we put on the Patreon, and the normal Patreon people are just watching it on there. But what if someone wanted to watch it but doesn't want to go? A lot of people also have
And so
issues
you
with
think
Patreon.
that an episode with you and Cary is going to get people to pay you?
It wasn't.
It
wasn't
is our
really
most
about-
popular episode ever. Was the one with me and
It wasn't
Dave.
really about
That's
additional
very true.
monetization, Kevin. It was an
Oh,
act
okay.
of love for
Oh,
the support.
No,
Sure.
we didn't
And I
even.
was
We didn't
giving
even
people the
consider.
ability to
We
support
didn't
on
even
YouTube.
consider that Tekken Sports makes $50 million a year on Patreon. That never crossed our mind, and we
know, I was
thought
talking
like
to
maybe
him.
we should do better
Cary.
at what we do.
I was talking to him extensively on like Friday night, and I was like, maybe we
Tekken?
should stop making fun of Tekken because he's like talking to me now and stuff.
Oh, Tekken's your buddy?
Yeah, well, we've
What's
met
his
him
real
on
name?
Wicked several
What's his
times.
real name? I want to know. What's his real name?
Mr. Tekken.
Mr. Tekken.
Dave
his
can
name. I don't know his
insult
first
podcasts. He's
Yeah.
just a rabble rouser, just
We-
always instigating, and everybody loves Dave.
We guilted
Raymond.
Harry Tornado into talking to me again, so that was
Finally.
cool.
Oh, did he message you?
Yeah, we talked like a little bit. and
He put a message on the podcast.
I know.
Excellent. Yeah, we
The
got him back.
prodigal
We got
son
him
has
back.
returned.
We got him back, man. We reeled him back in. You know, I don't. To be fair, Josh, if you're watching at this point, as long as like you're still doing the Patreon, we're cool whether you comment or not. Just keep the money flowing in.
Well,
Oh
okay,
my
so we don't know
gosh.
how often we'll do these secret episodes. Me and Cary want to do quite a few of them, Kev.
I like
It'd
him.
be cool to do
Hopefully
them weekly,
more
but we'll see.
often and with more consistency than the Pin Club.
Well, and I would like for them to be less reselling focused, Cary. This was way
Yeah,
too...
I
If it's
wanted
a
to
secret
talk-
episode, it should be like very light on the reselling.
I don't
and
want
it
to
was
talk
all
any reselling. We
talk.
should actually make a point of it. Like, I want to think of it as like a comedy podcast, straight up.
Yeah, there we go.
Straight
AI
up, we're just
Picks
doing riffs.
2.0.
Yeah, AI picks without talking about Eraserhead, which was
Yo,
terrible.
the real reason they did this is because the last episode I wouldn't shut up about reselling, and they didn't like it.
Yeah, no.
That's the truth of it.
Kevin, listen, you're cordially invited to our next recording, okay?
I don't
We
want
will
to.
not tell you when it is, though. You will find out.
Show up.
You'll just have to
Just, I'm
be-
not going to give you the
the-
URL. You just got to
have
guess
to,
the
yeah,
URL.
You have to guess the StreamYard.
No, listen,
How do you
Kevin, we
have
already
time
know.
to do
Listen,
this?
we made the AI Picks podcast. It failed. It's clear we can't
Yeah, yeah.
succeed without you. So
Mm-hmm.
we're going to need you to attend at least one. How do I have the time?
If you get, you know, look, if we're gonna do that for like 8 people watching it, maybe you get it up to a certain level.
like
I might
50
show up.
people watched it over on the Patreon.
Okay.
So there's a lot of
50
people that
people.
watched it over there. It's just
Do you
not-
say anything that you wouldn't say? Because, you know, can people like screen record it and put
we
it
were
out?
a little
You-
saucy. We were a little
We're a little
saucy,
bit, yeah,
I
we're
would
a little
say,
saucy.
yeah.
We put a little
risque.
marinara on there. We put a little
Yeah.
marinara on there for sure.
Extra cheese.
Extra
on that.
cheese, a little-
Spaghetti. I
A little
made
bit of
spaghetti last night.
jalapeno.
All right,
Okay,
well,
so
you
world's
guys
best
be
reselling
spicy.
podcast.
I'm gonna go get my computer because there'll be questions
Gosh,
here
man,
later.
are you ever
and I don't
prepared
have
for
it.
these?
Okay, Kevin, go do your
This is
weird thing that
podcast
you
night,
do.
Kevin. Come on.
You know what computer's code for, right, Cary?
Yeah, he's gonna get. It's gonna be a super quickie as usual for Kevin up there.
Oh, here he is.
Crap.
Why did he do his little finger
He
shake
just
thing?
like told us
It's
not
like,
to
no,
talk
no, no, no,
about.
don't do that. No, no, no.
He just turned the camera on to scold us and left.
No, I mean, listen, I think it was a fun show. It was an
was.
hour and 20 minutes. So,
I know.
and that's the thing Kevin doesn't understand. It was just me and Cary. We're going to talk anyways.
Yeah,
Like,
we're
we're
gonna be
gonna
on the
have a phone
phone.
call, so might as well just record
We just
it.
didn't, there was not as much anxiety talk as we do in the phone calls, but like there was just
Yeah,
it was more
but we
normal
could bring that to
people
the
stuff.
next episode.
We
could
could
bring it to the next
bring
episode.
the rampant anxiety that I suffer from, or you
How
suffer
has that
from.
been this week? Better? I know it was really bad
Oh,
last
dude,
week,
it was
but-
terrible last week,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so
Were you
bad,
feeling
and
better?
it's been off and on this week, but it's better overall. Yeah, it's just it sucks, but it is what it is. At some point, I'm gonna do one of those like black and white, heart to heart YouTube videos, but I don't want to be known as that. Like, I mean, I don't want to monetize on it either. I mean, I do, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? I
Dude,
know
you
it would
you
do
should,
well.
though. You should literally do that. You should do. I struggle with this, and you're like you said,
It would
black
work.
and white,
I'm
you
not-
look sad, and then the title is anxiety and reselling. It's a real problem, or something.
Dude,
like
and it
that.
seriously is.
A lot
and
of people associate with
people
that.
will. I gotta monetize
We're
my
gonna
videos.
think less of you, but it's okay.
Exactly, but like
How can
part
you
of
really
me.
think less of Cary?
No, but I mean it's real. It's a it's a
Take
hindrance.
that how you will.
It's a hindrance in my life. There's no doubt about that.
Mine too,
But
man.
in the
Mine
plus,
too.
I'm wildly successful in spite of it. Obviously, I mean I have a Spider-Man behind me. Life
What's
sucks.
the one thing? Okay, so I have a question about anxiety. Is there like one thing that you keep doing day after day, and you're like, "This is gonna kill me. Why do I keep doing this? What is that item? What is that thing?"
No,
For
I
me,
mean
it's
like
the fake sugar stuff. It's like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah,
another
like-
Diet Coke, Dave. You're gonna get the
just
C word.
my
just
general
keep drinking
diet,
it.
my diet bothers me a lot
Yeah.
because like I feel like most days like I start out pretty strong and by the end I'm like just scarfing pizza.
You got like 17
crying.
bags of popcorn around you. What happened?
I start
Why
out
am
with
I eating all this?
I start out with good willpower and I end up with I went on a walk for like 45 minutes today. That felt pretty good, except
Good.
it just so I mean like I've been
Kevin
By
seems
yourself?
like cool hand.
Yeah,
Luke.
by
He's never
myself.
gonna have anxiety. Do you ever have anxiety?
Yeah,
Kevin?
Kevin doesn't. I don't feel like.
I have had a couple of bouts with some
Yeah. But the Zen kind of keeps you mellow.
The Zen keeps him level.
constant nicotine, like through the night. It's just a
I have
matter
a question. So I have a question. We went to a yard sale today. Me and Tina did. she's been
Sunday,
like getting
Sunday.
dude, there's yard sales. Like
Don't do that around
Thursday,
here.
she came to me. She's like, "Hey, there's a yard sale. You want to go?" Friday,
She's getting into yard
Saturday,
sales, man.
she's getting into yard
I
sales.
know, dude.
Yeah.
She's gonna be your
Heathens down
Dawn.
there.
She's gonna find all your good stuff
I'm like,
at some
Tina,
point.
I don't have time to go. You're sourcing every day. She's like, but it's fun. I'm like, it is fun. Let's go. So it's like, but
well,
but I
we
went
got
to-
that. All right, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I went to this house today and like, it was messy, like, really messy, like, and
gave
I know
you
you've done
anxiety?
like, no, I just know you've
Because
done,
I've seen that. I've seen that garage.
you've done hoarder house videos and stuff, right? So like,
Oh, my
this
wife
was-
wouldn't go in there with me.
Well, we went in there and like, I just wonder, like, do you ever? I almost feel like I shouldn't publish the footage, and that's what. Do you ever like hesitate?
I've had
Like, I don't know if I
people
want to show this
So
environment. Like,
I did a 3-part series on a hoarder house, and then I went into a garage sale that was it was a basement. It was a hoarder house, crazy one. It was a great sale, by the way. Found amazing stuff, both of them, but especially the one that was the 3-part series on the hoarder house. It went down in views each time. The first, second, third episode. This is a while back. And the criticism went up, like, why would you put this on video? I didn't even think anything of it.
as in, well, see, I did. I was sitting. I'm like, this kind of makes these people look bad. They're in the footage. Like, does that?
See,
like,
they weren't in
that's
my
the part I'm
footage.
uncomfortable with. Like, they may not want to be
Yeah,
out there in
associate.
this. That's I don't know. I feel like I won't publish it anyway.
Well,
but
could you publish it and not have them in it?
I don't think so because they were like following me around and stuff.
I mean,
and stuff.
that's almost as bad as like when Kevin. Remember when Kevin did that video and called the lady a Karen and stuff, and then put her face
shut
out there.
up.
Well, listen,
And
honestly,
we told him not to do it. We
there
were like,
was-
"Don't do that,
Oh,
man.
there
That's
was
not
like
right."
layers too because
Her
there
name
was
was
like
Karen, by the way.
Oh, it was.
there was like hypodermic needles on the ground and stuff, and like
Yeah, I
they were
couldn't
just
deal with
selling
that.
everything that they had, like
For drug
it's
money.
possible. Yeah, honestly, I think it could. It was just it was a bad environment, it was a bad scene. And I'm like, I think I'm just not gonna put this out. This
Listen,
was
listen,
uncomfortable.
everybody out there listening. If Dave won't do it, it's probably
I made
the
a whole
right thing to
TikTok
do.
that was like a drug safety TikTok. You know?
They
So
loved that.
stupid.
They loved it.
So Brandon,
love it.
CVA Thrifts, I don't know what, like, he's the biggest nerd in the world. The fact that he even
true.
conceived of this original short. But basically, we're at the flea market, and I go to this, like, little tote, and I open it up, and there's, like, a pipe and stuff, a lot of drug stuff. It
Yeah,
smelled
yeah.
like weed and stuff. And, you know, I was like, yeah, I don't really want to deal with that. I don't want that. And so I just put it down. And then Brandon goes, so I'm like, Brandon, don't waste your time with that. It's drug stuff, right? Just because, like, I didn't want his hands to smell like drug stuff, too, right? Like, my hands smelled like pot after I handled it. And he turns this into a short where he's like, I'm really glad he saved me from this at the flea market. And then at the end, he's like, whew, that was a close one. That could have been dangerous. Like, in this really
It was like
cheesy
one of those
bad voice.
1940s like school PSAs that Kevin had to used to listen to back in the day.
And this thing
about
went
not doing
super
pot.
mega viral. It's like 1.3 million views,
Oh,
and
dang.
everyone, dude,
Oh,
I gotta read.
it's
some of the
awesome when
comments.
something goes viral that makes you look terrible. It's a
It
beautiful
doesn't make
feeling.
him look terrible. It makes him look like kind of a dork. Like,
Yeah, but he is a dork. It was
Yeah.
he's a dork.
endearing.
Yeah, he's my
like in the
dork.
most loving and affable way.
You know what though? That
Such a great dude.
reel, that dorky
saw
reel is
him
gonna
this
get him
weekend.
monetized. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that dorky reel. He's gonna cry all the way to the bank when he's cashing those $30 checks from that reel.
Well, listen, it's hard to get monetized on Facebook, guys. I don't know
Dude,
if
it
you've tried,
is.
but
It
it is
is.
hard to get
Hey,
monetized.
I got a Facebook video that's got 220,000 views in the last 2 days.
Wow, that's pretty
Why
awesome.
don't
Long
you
form.
brag about it?
I'm just all right.
My
yeah,
my
you're right.
Facebook videos.
I do too.
You're
I'm
right.
just joking.
You're right.
Kevin's, let me read you some of these comments though, because they're pretty glorious. Okay, so I love this
Yeah.
top one. Thankfully, he told me because that could have been dangerous, and it's this like nerd at his computer typing.
I love it.
Then this guy said, "Are you joking? It's a box holding a pipe. That could have been dangerous. Tell us you
could
don't
have
get
been.
laid. Tell us you don't get laid
Without
without telling us
going.
you don't get laid."
He's married, so that's implied.
I saw
And
them
then
both this weekend.
Craig Taylor's making fun of me. He said drug because I said, Brandon, wait, there's drug paraphernalia in there. I didn't say that. He's got like little nerd.
You
glasses.
guys would be so bad in like if you guys were cops in 21 Jump
Oh my
Street. You
gosh.
guys wouldn't be able to hack it.
dumb.
You would be they would call you out as cops immediately.
LOL, the guy
Narc.
who made this video is a dweeb, but probably thinks wrestling is real too, and he does. He does think it's
No, he
real.
didn't.
He does. Dude,
These are
he
students.
Dennis
The
said it's to
students got
hold
on
your
there.
tampons. I mean, it just goes on and on. They're just destroying Brandon. So I went in there and I made like a companion video where I
just
literally
wanted some of that.
I wanted some of that juice, and I started off. I said, "I saved his life at this flea market or something like that." And like I ended it off with, "I'm just glad I was able to warn him in time," and I'm just waiting to see what they say to mine.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yours hasn't gone viral yet?
Nah, I don't think so. It took him like 2 weeks for it to go viral. So, Kevin, you saw Brandon this week. How did that go?
I did. So I did a yard sale strategy. Dave, we had 4 community sales, which never, ever happens around here. Yeah. Turns out that there was 1.5 community sales. The other ones were anything but. But I decided I would go to this one community sale that was divided in 2 parts. And there's typically a better part and a worse part. And I'm like, I'm going to the worst part because I knew every picker in town was going to go to the better one.
You're playing 4D chess.
I did. And sure enough, I got to pick that whole area. And then I see Brandon and Jen pulling up. Actually, I saw like 5 other pickers pulling up. And he told me, thank you, Brandon, because you saved me the trip of going there. He's like, that was the worst community sale we've ever had there. It was terrible. And I got to pick jewelry in front of Jen. She wasn't happy about it, but no.
Here's the key: when you're picking with other pickers, here's the key: you walk out, immediately call dibs. You just go dibs. Do that, dibs. And then if anybody grabs anything, it's wrong. And
I have dibs on this whole sale.
I got dibs on the sale in general, and then we'll divide it up by based on what I don't want.
Well, yeah,
and they're picking for you.
The prices. I did have a lady do that to me. I'm like, I was at a sale. It was going to be your video, Dave, where you did the video game thing, and she brought it out, and somebody else tried to buy it or something. It was going to be that. I had asked the lady how much for this entire box full of. What the heck was it? Shopkins or something. Anyway, and she gave me a price for it. I'm like, okay. It's like I'm gonna keep looking around. Just put it over there for me. And I keep looking around, and another lady asked about it, and she said, well, it's $70, which is what she told me for this giant box full of stuff. And I was gonna bundle and make a deal. And she starts negotiating with this lady. I'm like, what in the world? But I didn't fight. I didn't go back in there like Dave.
You should have.
And say, no, I didn't. I didn't go back in there.
I said you should have.
What I did was turn the camera on it and just watch it unfold. And the lady ended up not buying it. And I was hoping she would buy it because then I would have stepped back in and said, you made an offer to me.
I don't know if I ever told that in my video. Maybe I did. But like that lady who was like fighting me for the video games and stuff. She was like, I went back in my car and I waited to see if she'd buy it, and she offered the lady $5 for everything, and the lady said no, and she's like, I can't, I don't have any more than $5. She's like, no. So it's just, it was kind of funny. But I picked a lot of jewelry too, Kev. What kind of jewelry did you get?
Yeah, I did. It wasn't that much. It was a little overpriced.
We're jewelry daddies, Cary.
I got
you guys are.
3 sterling silver pieces, and I got 2 other pieces that were marked, and I couldn't read them. They're not gold. But they're marked jewelry, and I got like all 5 for $10.
That's the strategy I've been employing. Like if it's marked and it's cheap, I'm grabbing it. I don't know if that's a good strategy.
As long as the mark doesn't say Avon or Sarah Coventry. And if it's cheap, Sarah Coventry.
If it's Avon, it's okay.
Sarah Coventry. I did get one of those. I did because I don't know. I'm paying for my education right now with jewelry. Yeah. But I got this one that was Trifari. Crown Trifari.
Trifari's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's like costume jewelry, but it's Crown Trifari is modern, I believe, like kind of like Heidi Dawes level.
Cary, I think that the key to success here will be like not necessarily looking for precious metals because there's all these stupid
just getting lucky, the Dave strategy.
Just all these people with their little loops. Like every yard sale I go, they got their loops and they're looking through magnifying glasses.
You lick the metal, and if there's a little bit of a tingle in your tongue, then it's going to be gold or silver.
So my point is, though, one of those guys was at this table, and he was like doing that with like a little loop and stuff, and he was just leaving all the named jewelry behind.
That's what he means by everybody. He saw one person doing it.
No, there's several guys. There's one guy I talk to all the time. He's got it built into his glasses. He's got a little thing built into his glasses.
Talk about a dweeb.
And then there's one old guy.
That's when I retire from picking. That's when I retire from picking, when I need special glasses to go picking. I'm a picker.
Really nice,
I'm a picker. I can smell gold and silver.
Just a little hint. If you don't want to have the little ring and all that, just get your phone out and just blow that thing up, and you can see it just as good.
Okay. Well, my point was...
Unless you're going to use my link.
I'm glad that you used the object of the phone to show us how that would be done.
How
I'm glad this
zooming
was an
works.
That's
object
what teachers do,
lesson.
Cary.
I love it. I love it.
All of the different learning types, and Dave
I feel like
probably
I'm
is one of
learning
them.
from the second or third best history teacher at whatever high school you were at.
No,
Well, my
there was
point
some good
was
ones.
that I think there's a little niche for me in costume
not-
jewelry,
it's
'cause these
niche.
people seem
It's
to leave
niche.
it behind.
But Dave, just listen to me. You're right, and I wouldn't ignore costume jewelry. But you find one piece of gold, it's going to
I
pay.
still don't know how to find the gold.
it's-
I know silver says 925. but
Gold
the
can
gold,
say
I
a
don't
bunch
know.
of different things. Just look for 10K, 18K, 14K.
I
That
found some
also
of those
doesn't mean it's
10K
gold, by the way.
plates.
You
I found 10K.
The
No.
key is you swallow the gold, and if it passes through unharmed in your system and comes out cleanly into your poo, it is 100% gold.
100%.
I'm looking for that stuff. I'm just not finding it.
I've
There
never.
are
There's
fake
all
gold
these
ones
guys
out there,
competing with me. Yeah.
No, yeah. Well, look, you got to be the first one. If there's
Retro
any
Toy
jewelry
finds it all the
people-
time. I know because he yells at me about it. So I'm
I
like,
found
he must
this
have.
10-karat gold.
I bought a jar this big, and I
I
found
know.
it.
Like, whoa! It must be serious.
How do we know he really found it now? How do we know?
We don't.
We
We
don't.
nobody.
I
I know
also
you
did a-
stage yard sales. He might as well.
Oh, come on. No, I'm kidding. He's a good dude.
He is a good dude. I like him quite a
But
bit.
I've done the whole, oh man, what were the videos they used to do? The open. I think Josh did one on Instagram where you open up your Wii and it's like, oh, Super Mario, or this game
Yes.
came out.
A
Cary
lot
does
of
videos
lot
of
of
him himself
Josh is
opening
back.
up
A
his
lot of
Wii.
Josh
Lot
is
of
back.
Josh is back,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's Josh K
Except
now.
for Josh K Closet. It should have just been Josh Closet with a K
Ah.
instead of
It's
Josh
just
K
you, or
Closet.
does- like every day I have some new YouTuber pop up that's like selling a course about clothing. The clothing,
I'll tell you
clothing
what.
niche is very
Yeah.
coursey.
Hey,
very
clothing
coursey.
people out there, clothing folks out there, let me know, is the clothing market down right now? Because I've been hearing a little bit about that, and I have more clothes listed than I've ever had listed ever on eBay, and they trickle in for
Yeah, there's
sales.
less
Now, I'm not on
people-
Poshmark, so
There's less people wearing clothes more than ever from what I've seen
Yeah.
here in Vegas. Since I've moved to Vegas, there's less clothing overall on people in general.
There was big arguments between you and me. You even got heated at a moment. Tina was like, "Cary got really mad at you in that last episode," and I said, "Yeah."
Oh,
yeah,
did
but-
I?
Yeah, you
About
did
what?
because of the whole flat rate versus calculated.
I just
Thing.
I
Dave
just
did a
wanted
poll.
everyone. We're just manufacturing controversy, okay? We were basically amongst ourselves going out to the dumpster and figuring it out, a la the Rocky.
I did a
Top
poll,
Picker.
Cary. I did a poll. And
Yeah, a
did
poll?
you see who won?
I don't trust.
Did you look at
polling
the
in
poll?
general?
Did
It's
you
not
look at
typically
all? You
reliable.
didn't look then.
No, but it's
you
not
He didn't
reliable.
look.
Based on
But
the
it
fact that you're
proved
mentioning
what we
it,
were
it's
saying
not
was
reliable.
correct.
It's
There
not
you go.
reliable.
What we were
Cary.
saying is
There you
correct.
go. There's your poll. 5% free, 49 calculated, 24 flat.
Yeah, they said Herbert Hoover wouldn't win, and he did. So I don't trust him.
So
Coolidge is the man.
And
Coolidge.
the other, I put in a mixture.
Let's
of
talk
the
about
above.
Coolidge.
I put in a mixture of the above, so obviously you
Yeah.
could like spread that among the three as well. But it would still be calculated shipping that won.
It
meaning that
feels
Kevin
to
and I were
me.
right.
It feels
But-
to me like it was rigged, pandering
If-
possibly.
If you remember, though, Dave, I said that our audience, because a lot of our audience is hardcore resellers, and you agreed with this, I think,
Yeah.
that amongst our audience, there would be a higher percentage even doing calculated shipping than, or there'd be a lower percentage. In other
Yeah.
words, the general populace, if that was given to the general populace who sells on eBay,
It'd be like
calculated would
70,
be
30.
even higher.
Yeah. I agree.
We, just for the record, we are losing, and we only have dozens of people listening at this point. We are losing most of those people talking about
The poop
shipping.
talk needs to come back.
Yeah, the
You're
poop
right.
talk, I think, is what
The
people are
gold.
here for.
People
Here's
wanna
my
know the
last
gold.
thought on the shipping. If you're doing calculated shipping, you're wrong.
Okay. So, Cary, did you go to garage sales yesterday?
I did. I
Oh
did
my
it.
gosh.
I did it. So I had two
Yeah.
experiences.
Started
Okay,
at
first
2,
off,
but you know, there's still a
second
couple-
yard
sales.
sale. No, I went to like 6, but who's counting? Second yard sale. Old dude with nothing but sports cards. I'm like, cha-ching.
Future Cary.
I got future Cary. I'm already an old dude with a lot of sports cards. I went in piling up stuff like arbitrage card does. He's a different dude than the regular arbitrage. He piles
Poor
up
Don.
cards.
Poor Don.
I had an Earl Campbell rookie card in there. And then the second he starts counting everything out, he's like, "Oh, you got a lot of King Griffey Juniors in here. They're worth." And I'm like, "Dude, it's not 1993. These aren't worth much. I'm just throwing them in because they'll do well. You know, a couple bucks in my auction or a couple bucks on eBay a piece, maybe a little bit more on a few." And then he went like I was thinking, $100. He was at a 300. He was at $300 on that stack. And I was like, I'd do 100, and he basically just scoffed at me, and I walked off. So I think I got to somehow use that footage and like
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But then
Absolutely.
after that, we walk up to this sale, and she had all these boxes and totes of McDonald's toys. Like the
Hey now.
ones. So I was not super excited, but I went to another tote. We went to another tote. I pulled out a bag of Ninja Turtle toys, figures and accessories. We asked how much. $1.
Wow.
So it was one of those moments. So we ended up getting totes and totes and totes of vintage McDonald's toys and
Dude,
turtles.
so sign up for the Dib
that'll be on
figure auction.
Maybe. I mean, we might.
J-Ride, you listening?
J-Ride flips,
I think
guys.
that's May
J-Ride
10th,
flips.
Cary. May 10th.
He's found a lot of. He always uses the spooky music on TikTok now. Have you noticed that?
We got auctions.
Resellers
I
are
did
lying
something.
to you.
I did something questionable, and I don't know. I probably shouldn't have done it.
Yes.
I want to know. I didn't even admit this in my Flipper video, but I'll admit it here.
Do we
because,
need to?
These are my people. Although the Flipper people are too. I was just. I don't know. I did it. So I went to a yard sale. I find a Lowrance fish finder, Kevin. I'm sure you've sold those before. And I talked to the guy. I was like, "Does it still work?" He's like, "Yeah, it did when I used it a couple of years back, but I lost the cables." And so I listed on eBay, and I listed it as working. Because he told me it worked last time he tested. I have no way to test it. Even if I bought the cables, I don't even know how to rig it up. Like, would you do it, list it as working? Or would you say untested? What would you do?
I will.
It's a gamble.
I would not test it. I would not list it as working.
Yeah.
I
would do
not
as
list
is.
It as anything. I wouldn't do anything. I just put it out there and not.
I would just do as is untested because I feel too guilty.
You do what, Cary?
I do as is unlisted. I was going to say this, man,
Untested.
like in one of those dollar or untested as is, basically.
But then it's going to sell for $50, and
yeah,
listing
then you
it
don't
as
have
working,
to worry about.
I sell it for $150.
I guess
$100
there's really no
points.
harm if you're willing to take the return.
I do free
guess.
returns.
Okay.
I do free returns.
Yeah. Don't list it as tested if it's not tested. It's not.
I didn't say
tested.
tested. I just in the
List. You
comments
said working.
I put working. I didn't say
Yeah,
tested.
okay.
I said
Well,
it was
slime
working
ball.
last
Kinda-
I actually originally wrote
kind of a slime ball
worked
move.
last time I tested it. I wrote worked last time it was tested.
Worked
And I was
at
like-
one point. Worked
I was
at
like,
I'm
eh.
gonna-
So I just
worked
changed
when
to
it was
working.
new.
I'm
It
gonna
was
throw
working.
Uncle Steve.
It
under
was
the bus.
working. That's what you should put in there. It was working.
Be-
I haven't
One day,
touched it
Uncle.
since.
One day, Uncle Steve tells me he's like, "I'm done selling DVD VCR combos. I'm not going to do it anymore." I'm like, "Sweet, buy them anyways. Sell them to me." I was like, "I'll sell them." He's like, "Don't you get a ton of returns on them?" I'm like, "No, I test them, and they're
I
working."
test those because those are easy to test.
Yeah.
Do you watch a
A
full
low
DVD?
Rance fish finder is not that
Do
easy
you watch
to
a
test.
full DVD? Do you watch like a full? Do you watch like a whole
No.
episode of a TV show?
No.
Of course not.
Then
but
how do you
listen,
know?
I've had
Then how
one
do you know?
DVD VCR combo returned in it might be 2 years. I mean, and I've
Here's-
sold
Okay.
75, 100, 150.
See, I've had more return than that, but that's also because, like, I'll put it in, I'll be like, kind of is tracking a lot. It's not working great, but it's working, and then I'll list it anyways.
Oh, I wouldn't.
So
do that.
that's my problem. But with this fish finder, Cary, this was my thought process. I can sell it for $150 if I say it's working, and it was working. Last known, it was working.
Yeah.
And then if it's a return, then I'm gonna have to eat the $10 to ship it back, the $10 to ship it. Now my cost goes from $10 up to $30, and I can sell it 4 parts for $50 to $60.
I get theoretically on paper you're doing the intelligent thing, but I want you to just take a moment and maybe close your eyes, Dave, for me for a
I'm
second.
gonna do that.
Visualize the pain and suffering that you'd cause the person who was so excited to get that fish finder, and then they found out it didn't work.
As
And
they're
they
out
had
there
to go
fishing.
through they're out fishing. They're lost. They don't know where
they
any
wouldn't
fish
be
are.
Fishing. They wouldn't be fishing. They'd put it in their boat the day they're about to go fishing.
They're out there. They've saved up. Just think that they saved up all year, man, to go on this
Listen,
fishing trip. Last
how about
fishing
this?
trip with their father before their father passes.
I listed it
okay?
$50
and
below
you
market
did that to
value.
them. You did that to them.
I listed it $50 below market value. It's actually a $200 fish finder. So because
so
I didn't
that-
have the cables,
But
and
it
because
doesn't
I wasn't
work.
100% sure if it worked, I
Theoretically.
listed it for
How about this?
$150.
As long as you don't list it as working, just list it and just say it comes with.
But it
what's
was
included.
working last time.
But listen,
this is what gives resellers a bad name, guys. This.
Just tell them. Just say, look. If you have a problem with it, I'll accept a full return. That's it.
I've done it, by the way. I've done this. Yeah.
Parts.
Now I will say the buyer has 0 feedback, and they're a new eBay buyer, so they might not be back.
Oh my gosh,
that's comforting. You may lose
you,
eBay
Dave.
a seller forever. They're gonna be stuck with Bonanza or some other random place, Temu, because of you. Good job.
But I don't know. Like the guy said, it was working last time. Why would it not be working? Why would it have stopped working?
Well, there's a lot of reasons why things stop working over time.
Or why people tell you they're working at a garage sale because they want you to buy it.
But everything else I bought from him was working. I tested the walkie-talkie.
I mean, you're probably safe.
Yeah. So
ask the people. Tell them what they would have us do in the comments down.
Yeah,
here's the thing. Here's the thing. You're going to get a lot of people who are going to. You're going to get a lot of people saying, "Dave, you shouldn't do that." But when it comes down to it, brass tacks. Yeah. They're keeping it to themselves, and they're doing what you're doing.
Yeah. They're probably that's right.
They are. So every person who says Dave's wrong, we know.
It's like the people that say they test every video game. I'm sure there's like 5% of the people out there that test every video game, but not much.
That's a little excessive. Like, look at the back of the disc, and if it's got deep scratches, like you could like put a micro machine on it and it would be like a track, that's probably not going to work.
Yeah,
I mean, listen, I have a different opinion if you don't offer free returns. I don't think you should do that.
No,
but the fact that I do free returns, with a free shipping label on me makes me feel okay doing it because I know they're not going to be out anything except for
as long as you don't say tested and working. If you didn't test it,
possibly ruining what they planned on doing, Dave. They might be going on a trip the next day to go fishing, and now they don't have a fish finder.
If you put like guaranteed, tested, guaranteed to work, that will sell at a premium. I do it all the time for VA.
Here, Dave, you probably, since you're going to do that, you probably wouldn't mind doing this too. Why don't you get empty boxes of like Nintendo like Switches and just sell it? Pretend like it has the Switch in there and just sell the box only.
UPS just stole the console out of it.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Maybe a little bit illegal.
I'm joking, by the way. If you guys hear
jeez, you guys are brutal. Well, listen,
follow this space. I'll let you know if it comes back.
I'm just trying.
Listen, if it comes back, it will have been tested for me. For free,
Dave. You don't follow sports, right? Dave, you don't follow.
You paid.
No, I paid. I did pay. I paid shipping both ways to get it tested. I sent it to a testing facility, and then I relisted it. Recently sent to testing facility. Does not work.
Testing facility. I am deeply in the negative.
Also known as Bob743 on eBay.
Well, listen, I had a guy. I sold a box of camera parts for. I just put out there super cheap, like. If this thing was working, it was $100 camera all day long. I put it out there for $50 with a bunch of different stuff in it because it was old and I wasn't going to test it. I don't know how to do it. And then the guy sends back a message, says, "Hey, these 2 parts in here." I mean, there's a box full of stuff. These 2 parts don't work. I'd like to get a partial refund. I'm like, dude. This. I said right there in the listing, untested. Yeah. This is just a box. I said that was already baked into the price. You're welcome to send it all back to me. And he didn't even respond, so he's not going to send it back. I'm like, you bake that stuff in if you're honest with people and say, hey, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes I look at Kevin.
A part of it was just like my confidence level. Like I really felt like it would work. I mean, I don't know. I don't always like at the flea market. It's a different story. If I got at the flea market, I would never do that. Yeah,
because they got it out of some storage.
Yeah, and like so, I went to a guy's garage sale. I bought some stuff, walkie-talkies, I think it was. He said it worked. I take it home, it works. Buy the same thing at the flea market the week later, it doesn't work. So I just have better experience at garage sales. With
didn't you say you found? Was it the Nintendo watch game?
Yeah, in one of the dollar bags. We didn't realize it till we got home. There was a Game and Watch balloon fight.
Oh, so you didn't get it on camera. So you had to do
it actually is on camera. When I went back in the footage, Don's holding it up. It's a dollar bag, and then I go back. I do like a little like I'm at home saying, "Did you see that? Go back and rewind
garage sale bag."
In the garage sale bag, yeah, it was in the bag, very visible. And then we went back, and then I talked about testing it. We tested it.
What was the game?
It's balloon fight. Balloon fight.
Yeah. So Dave, you said in the message he sent you said you had found one.
Yeah.
And I had found one. I think I found 2 total. I found one ironically in the hoarder house. In the hoarder house, and I found one at Goodwill. But if you ever find those those credit card
So
style
yeah,
games, man.
pre like home entertainment system, right when Nintendo was, I guess, going from whatever they were doing, playing cards to systems. They had that moment where they were doing the handheld, and honestly, like it's about as good as like a Tiger Electronic one from the early '90s. It's not that bad. We were playing it. I mean, like
That's
it was
cool,
not.
yeah.
It was
actually
working,
better
or
than
did you go get a battery?
It works. We got batteries for
But
it.
they did it
We had to
recently.
hold. We have to like hold it in or put like painter's tape to keep without a backing. To keep the batteries in.
They
But-
recently did a re-release of those though, so you have to be careful.
Yeah.
Some of the ones are the newer ones. I think they only go for like 20 to 40. It's got to be the old ones. I don't know. I'm sure the new ones have a website on the back or something. That's how I.
Yeah,
would
it
check.
appears
says
to be old based on
www.
just where it was found as well. But I guess we could double check on that. But it appeared to be
No,
old.
they wouldn't have re-released Balloon Fight, Cary.
Balloon
They
Fight.
re-released them with like
Here's the
Zelda
thing.
and Mario, not Balloon Fight.
I'll give you 3 guesses on what it's about.
Fighting balloons.
Fighting, you're actually like it's like Flappy Bird. It's like you're
Okay,
trying to like
yeah,
catch
yeah.
the balloons, and you have to press the button to stay afloat.
Do that again,
or, like
Cary.
go up and down.
Do that again.
Oh yes, nice.
Sorry,
Sometimes
I
I
don't
feel
get
like
fights very
Kevin,
often.
Fight is not a
Usually
game
me.
Kevin,
that's popular
before
enough.
before you started YouTube, Kevin, did you like Freaky Friday or something? Oh, that's awesome. Because sometimes I feel like you're like a child that's in an adult body, and you dress yourself like you're a child, but like you're
Thank
in an
you.
adult
At
body.
least I have normal size arms, Cary.
You do. That's fair. Well done. Well done. I love it. I love that Corky shirt, by the way. That's
Yeah,
a
let's
nice- nice-
Let's start talking about.
I think it's dope, honestly.
Per
Wait a minute.
strategy. We've talked about jewelry.
All right,
Can we
wait,
talk
wait.
about
Can I?
purse
Can I?
strategy?
Can you give
Yeah.
me 5 seconds, Dave? Giant box of jewelry I bought. Giant box.
Nice.
Tiny little. It was a Mormon mission ring. I told
Oh.
this to Cary.
Yeah.
Worth well over $100 because it's gold. Tiny. The rest of the box not worth that.
Haslo
Really?
Husto, my friend.
Just saying. Probably $150 ring, and it's like featherweight. So just
I
saying.
counted out that piece of costume jewelry at 150. That one
Yeah,
I found.
there's
I
some
don't know
good
if it's
stuff.
really worth that, but I even got someone who messaged me. that
Did
was
you
a
test
viewer
it?
that
Yeah, is it
said-
working?
That said, well, it went in. I can't get it out. But it went in.
Fully inserted.
I was not expecting that. The keystring episode is long gone.
Yeah.
I know, man.
Well, anyways, but a viewer actually messaged me and said my comp might be low on that piece because it was crowned.
Did they
Cary.
tell
I
you
don't know
to
if that's
comb it
true.
out and brush it?
No, but it just and I got another piece of costume jewelry with like 4 watchers. I've listed at 169. So there is some good stuff out
Oh,
there.
no doubt
Yeah.
about it, for sure. But you find a big
Nice.
chunk. I've sold a gold ring before for $700, $800 before.
Wow.
So I'm just saying.
Wow.
I don't.
Well, Tina
don't-
wants a new ring for our 20th, so I'm hoping to find
Oh
one of
my
those.
gosh! Can I make an announcement on here?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Bubba's girlfriend is no longer Bubba's girlfriend; it's Bubba's fiance. And let me tell you, this ring is like, my wife looked over at me like, "When's my new ring coming?"
I know.
And
Why do
I'm
they
like,
want new
what
rings?
in the world? I didn't wear a ring.
Isn't it just a symbol of
I
your
just-
guys' love? What does
so
money
fat it
have to do
hurts.
with it?
Seriously.
Don didn't get
agree.
me a ring.
No, well, Tina wants a new ring. Tina's always wanted like just a simple 1 diamond instead of like lots of little
Solitaire.
Did you let her know you
Yeah.
sell
Solitaire.
plushes on the internet and it might not be
That's
possible?
what I told her. I said, "Do you know how many plushes I have to sell?
Well,
to
you know
get
what
a
I
diamond
did.
ring, honey?"
Listen, you could do it though. Take a category. This is what I did with my wife. I every pair of jeans I sold for a year, I took the money that I made off of the jeans and I put it in an account. That's how I paid for her engagement.
You told me this, by the way. This is how much this is how much of a player Kevin was back in the day. You said Heather found the Game & Watch, right? When you were on a date at the Goodwill? Was that correct?
I found it.
You found it. You were on a date at the
It was
Goodwill.
like our second or third date, and I'm like, "Hey,
Second or third, really?
Yeah." And I was like, "Hey, could we go in the Goodwill?" We were eating Mexican right next door or something. And I was like, "Hey, we go in the Goodwill," because I was addicted. I could not go in the Goodwill. I was 12 feet from it. It was right down the thing. And she's like, "Yeah, I'll go in the Goodwill for it." And that's when I told her I was a reseller. So I told her I did. Well, I was a teacher.
It's like,
obviously, and a
it's
coach.
like letting them know.
finally
It's like letting them know
let
you're
it
an
out of the
alcoholic
bag.
or something.
But listen,
God, that's
Something you
awesome.
should know about me, babe.
That's right.
I'm a reseller.
But listen, that was a
Ew,
39-cent
reseller.
game. I bought one of those for 39 cents in the Goodwill, and I told her, I was like, "This thing's gonna make me buy." I don't remember what I sold for 100 and
That's
something.
funny.
And
you're a
so
reseller.
she was
Those
hooked.
guys sell untested low rances
That's
on
right.
I met Dawn reselling as an auctioneer, and she was
Yeah.
consigning. So we cut through all the BS. We were at the DI before our
finally
first date.
convincing Tina to go to a yard sale. From
I know.
Sounds like
So,
she
I'm
likes it.
getting
My
there
wife
20
came
years
out.
later.
So my wife drops off Reagan. So I've been at a yard sales for 2 hours, and she'll call me up because she doesn't want to wake up to go to a yard sale. But if she's out to drop off Reagan, and
that's
she's
kinda
out,
Tina too. Yeah.
she called me up, and she came and this twice now this year. So, and she does good. She does really, really good. She looks at totally different stuff than I do, and sometimes she finds some real winners.
Remember, I was like kind of saying I might be getting better at reselling. It's all out the window after this weekend. It was a
what'd you
horrible
do?
weekend of picking. It just
You relapsed back to the old days.
Relapsed. No, I think that like instead of becoming a better picker, the sourcing was just temporarily better. I think that's really what it came down to. Like,
But
the
you didn't
community
miss it.
sales.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean,
Well, except for most of the comic books. But yes, you didn't miss it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
tell you
that's
what.
true. I didn't miss it. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It took me a minute to process that. I didn't miss
Yeah.
it. This year I didn't miss it. But like this weekend, I got nothing. I mean, I guess
Well,
I got
it
that fish
happens.
finder.
That happens as a reseller, I feel like, because you go out and at least for me, and I'm not perfect, obviously, I'm very good at what I do, but like you'll go out on a weekend and you're going to buy sometimes, regardless whether there's stuff to be bought.
Yeah, do you
or not.
force it if it's not?
Sometimes
there,
you
is the
force it, and you're
question.
like, you know what, Avon bottles this week feel like
Not
a
bad.
winner. Yeah, this winter.
Yeah,
You
do
know,
you
at
feel
least they
like,
can
Dave,
be keistered.
Do you feel like though, Dave,
The shoe
that
is
since-
difficult.
Since you're doing live, like I'm doing Dibdit, I'm doing whatnot and whatever, and so that's another side of my business now. I feel like even at a bad sale, we went up to a sale with my wife, and there's tons of clothes everywhere, mostly women's clothes, Victoria, Lane Bryant, stuff like that. And she left. She's like, I'm out of here. And I kept looking, and I found a stack of graphic tees like Van Halen or whatever, modern, all modern, but they were all $1.
Yeah.
And I would not have bought those. I could have probably sold them for $8 to $10 used on eBay each, but I bought those and I made a successful day out of that particular yard sale. That's going to make me a bunch of money. 20 graphic T-shirts with good topics on them, for sure. So don't you feel like you can make a bad day into a good one just because of being able to sell on those sites too?
kind of. I think I
historically-
I just like I go in phases of like wanting to do live auctions and not, and
Yeah,
I'm kind of
I
in
see
a
you're
non-live
not,
auction
yeah.
phase. I haven't done any.
You were
this
doing a
week
lot
either.
for a while. You kind of you were too
I
close.
kind
to
of
the
burned
sun.
myself out a little
Icarus
bit.
it
I'm
up.
gonna try. I keep
It's
having
exhausting.
this one
The
scheduled.
shipping.
I keep having one scheduled, and I keep pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back. I think I'm gonna really do it tomorrow. I think I'm gonna actually do it tomorrow. We'll see.
Which would be yesterday for the
Yesterday
folks.
for the
Hey,
viewers,
by the
yeah.
way, I'm selling on Knickknacks tomorrow, Wednesday.
Traitor.
6
What's in
p.m.
Knickknacks?
Traitor.
Knickknacks.net. So
You mean our
y'all come and join
arch-rival
me.
Knickknacks?
I know nothing. Tim's going to be on there. Great stuff. Dollar starts. There you go.
Tim's going to be
doing.
doing your auction.
And
from what I
follow me
understand.
over there on District, not Dave, because I got to stay in front of him.
Thumbs up, Kev. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up, buddy.
I was so random. He didn't even see it.
He can't.
I saw
now
it.
he,
There it is. There it is. Yeah, there it is. I was supposed to be up in Lynchburg right now, man. I was supposed to be driving
my
up
real
today.
friends are coming.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I dropped out. You
I'm
know, and
glad.
it's funny.
And
if
they're
I
staying
lived in
here?
Florida, I probably would have come up, but I'm far.
I
away.
went out and bought 2-ply toilet paper because Dave's not coming.
and they got some Angel Soft. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why everyone's not buying Angel Soft. It's not that
Here's
much
the
more
thing.
expensive.
Here's the thing.
It
I'm ever in
is.
a restaurant.
Collard
I'm ever in
greens.
any place, a home that's using single ply. First off, I'm using twice as much, and then I'm taking another third and I'm throwing it in the garbage or flushing it because that's
Just out of spite?
disrespectful. Oh, especially in a restaurant, I'll use twice as much. It's like you're not going to
Working-
single ply. I have a very soft anus. I have to coddle it.
that single ply stuff is like, it's gonna bring the
Listen,
blood, man.
Working
I
at
don't
Wet
need
that
an-
hard?
another bloody incident,
There's a
a
lot
bloody
of
anus
blood.
incident. I don't need a bloody anus
Oh my God.
2013 all
Okay,
over
how many
again.
times you got to say it?
It's
Jeez, I remember working at the
it's
public
not a bad
schools.
word.
Bloody anus is just
Oh
a
my
medical.
God.
It's not a bad
mistake,
word.
Kevin.
That's a part of your body,
Stop.
Kevin.
That's actually the
Unbelievable.
title of the episode. Bloody anus.
It's not a bad word.
Kevin could never be a doctor.
Listen,
Clearly.
Yeah,
so
they
working
talk
into
about
public,
it.
working in public high schools, do you know the kind of toilet paper dispensers that are square,
Oh,
so
yeah.
you gotta like undo it yourself. You can't roll it. I'm like, who would steal it? Because it's single ply. I'm like, who would steal this stuff? What in the world?
Yeah.
But I think it's to stop them from clogging the toilets up the students or something. I don't know what they're doing. But I saw a teacher who will remain nameless walking out of that building with a bag. You could see their bag. They're like computer bag, and it has rolls of. They're stealing the toilet paper to take it home. Like
that's
what
kind of like more an indindictment on the school system and what they're paying teachers than anything, right? If you got to steal toilet paper, you're struggling.
Excuse. There's no excuse. Although I will say that. Well, I'm not going to say that.
Oh,
Hey, Cary, remember those little ducks, the little Danbury mint ducks I got at the Georgia sale where you were in the U-Haul? You went in the U-Haul and you bought a bunch of cards. I got these like Danbury mint ducks.
I don't remember.
Actually, finally sold.
Oh,
them for
like
27
like the ones with the that are bigger statues and stuff that had the grass. Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, I paid $1 a piece for them. I sold two of them for 27 a piece. I've got two more.
Not bad.
So,
that's not bad.
That's not a bad.
We've been selling really well on eBay, thanks mostly to Don posting stuff. So that's good.
Nice. Yeah,
nice.
Tina was looking at Dawn's Instagram. Dawn did like this braggy Instagram post.
Yeah,
she's like,
good
Dawn
at
is so good at flipping. I said, yeah, Cary taught her everything she knows. And then I wrote in the comments, I said, wow, Cary found some great stuff. I don't know if she responded to me yet, but I did comment on Dawn's.
I found a couple things. Look, I've already given up the fact that I can compete with Dawn because first off, she'll boast about everything. She's constantly on our group text, trying to get one up on Kevin. I think mostly because she knows she's clearly better than me and you, Dave. She's just trying to compete with Kevin.
Oh no, okay, so no, actually, Tina said this to me, Kevin. You can blame her. She said, "Man, Dawn's better than all of you." She said, "But Dave, you're better than Kevin." And I said, well, thank you. Appreciate that. She has to say that contractually.
Well, of course.
So Dawn said in response to, wow, Cary found some awesome stuff, Dawn said he did actually find the Wedgwood and the Angel Rally Monkey plush.
Thank you.
You forced him to buy the helmets.
You got it. Was that a
3 things that I technically...
Yeah,
I got 2 Angel Rally monkeys. Those were stadium giveaways. I don't know if you've heard me talk about it 7,000 times as I was adapting from place to place.
Send them right here.
Adapt with bobbleheads.
I sold a comic book, Dave. $66.
I've got your stack of comics I bought from you that are probably worthless. But
I sold a board game today that I found. And it's Mayfair. Do you guys know the brand Mayfair?
Let's just name a bunch of things we sold. Okay, you sold.
Yeah,
Mayfair.
well, isn't that what we do?
Yeah.
Then we should do our worst sale of the week because we came up with that idea.
Cary, I sold that Venom popcorn bucket I got at the Port Orange Goodwill with you for $18.
How much? $18.
Yeah,
well, you could suck it because listen to this.
Okay,
I sold an unplayed. Did you know like railroad games are really popular, like Ticket to Ride and stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's this game I found. It was like $4 or $6 at the Deseret Industries. I saw it there. Dawn wasn't looking at it. I saw it while she was busy comping all the stuff she found. I'm like, hey, look at this, Dawn. I'm going to teach you something. And it was Mayfair is the brand, guys. And I think it was missing pieces, and we sold it for $55. Now by we I mean Dawn posted it and took an offer.
Yeah.
Mayfair,
she's going to ship it.
Aren't those fairly modern ones? That
Mayfair
like
is
90s,
modern,
thick boxes.
It is thick boxes, but modern. It's modern. It's like a very popular independent board game company.
Yeah.
And when you're looking, this is the one thing I can teach people is Mayfair in any board game that has a person's name. Like if it says Yul Brynner's, like colonoscopy, the game, that
played it.
Then you know it's if it has somebody's name on it, that they're very like Monopoly isn't like Monopoly by Reginald Featherbottom or whoever the heck came up with that game.
So like something like this. Complete Mayfair board game, Dragon Riders of Pern. That was actually a good book. I read that by Anne McCaffrey.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I think I might have sold that book.
Yep.
How did you get married reading that kind of stuff?
Dude, I have been binging the Stormlight archives. They're so good. So good. People know. They'll comment below and they'll agree.
Redwall. Brian Jocks.
Isn't that the little mouse?
And there's gerbils and there's ferrets and there's moles. I loved man, I think they're making like a real TV show of it. Well, I liked it as a little kid too, and I want to go back.
Related items, Cary. I sold one of your Octonauts again. Just one little helicopter and a character for $50 on Poshmark.
Dude, Poshmark. Selling toys on Poshmark, man. That's
awesome. I also had 2 buy it nows on Whatnot because I cross-listed with Vendu.
Vendu, guys.
Code American Vendu, reach out. They said they wouldn't sponsor our podcast.
They said because it didn't do well.
We got no conversions.
We got 0 conversions.
But that's also because we put my link and I never put the Trash to Cash podcast link every time we talked about it. So to be fair, I rigged the system against us.
I don't know. I need to talk to Maria to see if I've gotten any technical conversions. I had a lot of people like sign up. I don't know if that means anything. So we'll see if I randomly stop talking about Vendu, you'll know why.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm still going to use it. I'm still going to use it. I like Vindu quite a bit.
Have you gotten any
honestly.
buy it nows on Whatnot yet?
Not yet. No, I have some stuff up there though. I'm going to
Okay.
push it to the auction though because it hasn't
I've
worked
got-
for me yet.
I'm out of laziness. I'm gonna have Mikey come over this week and do all the Whatnot crowd.
Mikey Bags of Money. He's blowing up on
wish.
YouTube. Have you seen that?
Well, he's
lately?
going to, dude. I'm telling
He's
you,
getting
there's like
in fights at storage units or something.
I've been saying it for 6 months, man. Storage units is like kind of the place to be because there's not as much competition. There's gonna be now thrift mines over there. I just don't have the place to put all the crap.
Problem with thrift mine is they're gonna have to up. They're gonna have to up how many videos. You can't do 3 videos every 4 years and grow.
Yeah, no,
You're
I think
gonna have
storage
to do
units.
more
If you
videos.
have the capacity to empty
Storage
out
units
storage
are hot
units
again.
and to
There's no
have
doubt.
trailer.
By the way,
and
did they
have a place
cancel
to
that
store it
podcast?
all-
Does anybody
they
remember?
canceled it. It's gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Dave, I'm actually first of all, my picker channel is finally going. I think garage sale season really boosted. I've got 2 straight number ones.
Oh
I got
man, the
number
rich
one on
get richer.
Flipper.
You know what I mean?
Well, listen,
I don't even look
it's
at my
just the
numbers anymore.
space.
For me, it's about
not about the
providing
numbers.
entertainment.
They're
I don't really
There for the
yeah. He's so full of crap. I'm just saying that it's
I have
seasonal.
what's an 8 out of 10? Is that good? That's not
Storage
terrible.
units,
Seven, eight, nine?
are not necessarily seasonal. So
Yeah.
I think it's really, really helpful, and they're everywhere. And I've never done a storage unit auction, but I'm
You gonna be a
going to
storage
do
daddy?
one. I'm going to do one.
I want to do. I literally have the
This is-
channel somewhere.
Let's do it together when I
ADHD
move out
storage.
there.
Yeah.
Let's do it together,
Might
and
have
I'll
the
be the one
space.
digging, and then you just warn me of the danger of stuff that I'm picking up. You'll just be like, "That's drug paraphernalia," and I'll be like,
it
"What?"
might
And then
actually
you,
be.
No, it's gonna. It's a storage unit. It's gonna
I
be.
actually have the space. I have the trailers at my dad's shop. For me, I guess really what limits me is time. Just the
You
time
need another
to go
channel, though,
and-
Dave.
But then you'll get all the accusations. See, those people have to put up with all the accusations of plants.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's such an. It's look.
I'm pretty
somebody
confident I could do a
could
bad enough
rig a
job
garage
doing
sale,
this,
but it's
Kevin, that
just
they would
not
never.
sustainable.
They're like, "How do you never make money doing this?"
You always lose on every one. Plant. You've got someone going in there and taking out all the good stuff.
I know it's just. I love the planted ones. It's like very like. I can imagine like these planted units. You're finding empty boxes. You're finding drug paraphernalia, rat feces, and then in the back there's like a vintage Indian motorcycle, complete, untouched,
No,
worth
dude,
$70,000.
Carrie, there's like the 3 main things. You find a dead body, always. Everyone finds
That
a dead
always
body.
works. 100%
Find
of the time.
a secret stash of Funko Pops with all the rare Funko Pops. And then you find precious metals, right? Oh, all
Weapons.
the gold.
Oh, dude, this is
weapons,
this is the series. You find a dead body. The next episode, you get one of those spirit radios, and you communicate with the person to see why they lost their unit or what
a good
happened to
idea,
them.
yeah.
Like
Well,
you
listen,
could become kind of like paranormal as well.
You look at
Or
some of these
Norman.
OG YouTubers. Y'all know Taco Stacks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
stacking up the tacos.
when he puts out the storage unit stuff, those videos do really well, better than everything.
Yeah.
Paper and Moose, y'all know Paper and Moose. Shoot, her videos are like here, and then she does storage unit goes up here, and it's just like that.
Dude, listen.
storage units are good.
It could be the 8th iteration of Dave's Destination / NC Picker Shorts.
you
/
go.
it could
The
just be
destination is
Dave's-
storage units filled to
Yeah.
the brim with dead bodies.
Just,
That's
yeah,
the
just
destination.
like, honestly, like the channel's kind of dead. I think I'm
It's like
they're actually
Kevin's storage
charging
units,
me
but
money
instead
now
of
at that
animals, it's people.
Instead of giving me money, they're charging me money over there. So I should
Well,
probably
you
just convert it to
see,
something else.
ATL flippers you talked about, but do you
Yeah,
know
they
who?
converted
Do you know who CK Treasures
Yeah,
are?
yeah.
Colton and they've had some storage units. Like he's been doing that channel forever. It was Redneck Resale. He changed it, but he had storage units pop like crazy too. Just very, very recently, had 150,000. So it's
surprising it's not a
definitely
bigger
place
niche
to be,
because
but-
it's got so
I
much
think
demand.
I think it is a bigger niche. I think
Oh,
it is
yeah.
a
like
bigger
that there
It
isn't
is a
more
bigger
people
niche.
catering to that niche. There's a lot
It's
of
'cause
people.
it's a
I'm all
lot of
for it.
overhead.
Go cater
It's a
to
lot
it.
of overhead.
Go
It's-
cater to it.
Yeah,
I wish
think
Dave would
it's like a
stop doing
production.
picking videos. Everybody can stop doing picking videos and do storage units. I'll stay right here because I hate it. I don't want to do storage units. I want to
yeah,
do
work. It's so much
garage
work.
sales.
Yeah,
Yeah.
work.
I love it.
icky.
I mean,
Icky,
you
icky.
get furniture in there, but you got to have like
The
multiple
furniture is the
outlets.
killer,
You got to
yeah.
do.
You just got to get the stuff you want. Then you gotta have like a group of pickers that you just give the rest of the stuff to, and you put a couple decent things in there,
or
for
not
them
even
as well.
necessarily give it to them because there's flea marketers, and so you just like, all right, here's the junk I don't want to deal with. You can have it. Come pick it up, and they take it to the flea market and sell it off, and then you're left with the stuff they won't take, and then you find a furniture guy, and then you take the rest. So, but that isn't easy. And you know, a lot of people will turn a lot of that down because they don't want to do the work either.
Yeah, I just think it's pretty full time. That's why I've never like.
I'm in this business
it.
to avoid that kind of work.
Yeah,
I did what is it where you have to sod lawns and stuff, landscaping. I did that for about 2 weeks before I was gently told I probably shouldn't come back.
So you're overqualified.
Yeah, I was that's what I keep telling myself. I was overqualified for that position.
Just tell them you paid for those degrees. They're not.
Well, here's the thing that happened. We were out there and a cat got run over. And it was in the middle of the road, and he didn't want to pick it up, and I wasn't going to pick it up. I was just going to leave I ain't picking it up. I'm not paid enough for that. So I think we ended up doing it together. We were like, dry heaving it, and that was, it was not pleasant.
So when you buy purses, Kevin, fancy, expensive purses, I know Cary doesn't at all.
Mm-hmm.
No, we bought stuff. Yeah.
How do you authenticate? So here's the thing. Here's the thing with purses. So I don't know how to authenticate them. Brandon called me. He's like, Dave, I bought a bunch of purses. This lady's messaging me and saying they're all fake.
Send it into that, right?
Right?
Who called you up?
Brandon. And he said he listed these purses, and someone's messaging him saying these are fake. They're very obviously a fake. Blah blah blah. And I was like, well, when you bought them, did you ask the seller if they were fake? Right? And he's like, well, no, I didn't. And I said, honestly, that's like one of my. It's not a good piece of advice, but it also is.
If you can read people.
If you can read a person, if you can kind of see from like
don't
the
ask
other
them
items
that.
they have.
Ask them where they bought it.
Oh no, I do that often too. Yeah, where'd you get this? Did you get this at the store? Yeah, and they're like, yeah, I got it at the Coach store. Right? Like, there's that sort of thing. There's also other pieces of
flea
evidence.
market.
Yeah. Well, no, at the flea market, I don't buy purses. So I don't buy flea market purses. I don't buy estate sale purses either, Kevin, because there's no real way to ask someone where they got it. There's no way to ask if it's real, and it's too risky to me. But I know people can actually spot them. I'm just not.
So if you have a spirit radio, you might be able to find out.
True.
I'm certainly no expert, and I actually have 2 purses in here right now that I can't figure out. So there's a couple of ways to figure it out. Just general ones at a sale. Look around at the other type stuff that they have.
100%.
Look at the other things that they're selling, and that'll give you a decent idea. But Rachel Strickland sent her message, and there's a Facebook group that I cannot remember the name of, but I'm a member of it.
I'm talking the heat of the moment, though. Any of us can do that after. But my big thing was, I think he spent $40 a purse, and if I'm not going to spend $40 a purse unless I'm pretty confident in the realness of the purse.
There was a Burberry purse the other day at a sale I was at, and inside of the Burberry purse was a matching wallet. And the matching wallet had no marks on it whatsoever. So somebody faked a Burberry purse and had like a matching wallet that was with it that was clearly fake. And the other one looked good, but you just don't know. So it's a definite no to me.
I've been to Beijing, right? And when I was in Beijing, I don't know if I've told this story here, I wanted some fake Yeezys. And so I go, this was back when Yeezys, did I? Just last week or a long time ago?
Long time ago.
Okay, so I'll tell it again. So I wanted some fake Yeezys. I go to the Silk Market. That's what they call like the main place to get the knockoffs. And they're all pretty obviously knockoffs. Why is it called
Silk Market? It's the Silk Road, right? Is this his history thing?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That all that stuff came in from the West. Okay. And they would have literal silk
Marco Polo traveled,
and they call me and Brandon.
People would keep losing Marco. They'd be like, Marco.
Well, anyways,
all right, go ahead.
So I go to the Silk Road, and you have to ask around. You're like, well, where do you get the good ones? Like the ones that are like realistic fakes. And these people are like, oh, go to this address. And so me and my friend go to this address, and we go, anyways, we go to this address. I'm not going to talk about this guy. He's a weird fella.
Doesn't want Tina to hear.
Yeah, no. So we go to this address, and it's like another mall, right? That looks a little higher end. We go in, and he's like, yeah, we got to go here. And he knocks on this secret door inside a building.
Did you find
inside
Gizmo?
Inside a shop, there's another secret door. There's a shoe shop, and inside the shop, there's a secret door that pulled open, and literally the door had the shoes on it. It was that hidden of a door. Wow. And there's a secret room in the back where the good fakes are. And the good fakes, literally, you couldn't tell.
Well, it's because
if they were real or fake.
It's because they're probably made from the exact same company.
And that's what he said. He said they literally steal these off the line, basically.
And you see that on eBay. That's crap. That's what ticks me off so much about eBay and the Vero program. And there's clear Chinese sellers selling exactly what you just described. They're the real items. They do it with cars. They do it with video games. They do it with... I'm sure they do it with just about everything. Action figures, purses, all that stuff. And it's crap. They need to crack down on that before they start coming after, fake resellers like Gabe.
What do you want to say about New Era and Bonanza? Are you done with Bonanza? Are you done? Have you...
New Era and Bonanza.
Is this the end of Bonanza?
Have you closed your booth?
Did you?
Bonanza?
Oh, that video.
How do you
hadn't
close
come
the
out.
booth?
Did
Do you
that
have to
video
go in
come out?
person, like
That
via
video hadn't come
horseback?
out yet, Dave. We gotta chill on that.
Oh my gosh!
Oh.
You're such a nerd.
Oh, you
When
have a
does it come
video
out?
about it.
Yeah. Oh,
Are
I'm
you really
filming ahead
banking on a
'cause I'm-
Bonanza
Oh, okay, fine.
video?
Let me rephrase that. Bonanza is a new era of reselling, and we are very excited about it. Let's move on. Is that
Bonanza.
better?
I'll just give a preview. I had a lot of items taken down off of Bonanza and a cease and desist letter. So I'll tell you about it soon.
Yeah. He'll clickbait you soon, guys. Don't
Yes.
worry.
Don't worry. You're going to be 15 minutes in. You'll be like, when the heck's he going to talk about this?
What is the point?
It's at minute 28 is when he's going to talk about it, and he's going to briefly mention it for a minute and a half. Then they're going to talk to you about going to commonwealthpicker.com and getting a sticker, and then it's going to be over. It's going to be
Yeah.
a minute and a half of like just old B-roll, but with
After
chickens
Wally
that are
comes
all
in.
dead, by the way. The chickens are gone. Still using the B-roll.
Hey, you know those YouTube channels where they got in like they decide to have another baby kind of thing, kind of like the old sitcoms, like Married with Children, like they needed another baby at the end of it, you know.
Yep.
So we did that, except for we got
You
another
had
another
dog.
baby?
Yeah.
You
We got
pregnant?
another puppy.
Another one.
Aw.
How many do you
Oh,
have?
what?
3.
What's the name of this puppy? Is that going to be a reveal in a video, or can we find out
Yeah,
It's Luke
Yeah,
Combs.
it'll be out,
Luke
but I filmed
Combs,
a week
his new
ahead,
dog.
so.
His new dog,
Luke
Jelly Roll.
here? Jelly roll. Yeah.
I told
a little
my wife
pug.
to
That'd
call
be
him Morgan. She's like,
Yeah.
I'm not going out in the yard and yelling for Morgan and Wallen. I'm not doing that. I'm like, okay.
That'd be pretty good. Yeah.
Dwight. How about like
Can I say
Yoakum?
thank you
Yoakum.
to our
Yoakum.
wealthy as a Kevin tier
That
Patreon
was in the
members.
finals. What?
Carrie, we have
Yeah,
some
go ahead.
amazing people who are supporting us with $25+ dollars a month.
$25. You're
One of
wealthy as
those
a Kevin.
people, I think, is Brian Big and Fun. Even though he's not
We
on our
think.
list anymore, he paid for a year. He prepaid, but like for some
So
reason he's
he's-
not showing up. So Brian, we still love you. We retract
still
our
love
hate
you.
message from last
We
week.
do, yeah.
Only because you have
Everything we retract.
$21,000 more dollars.
For the
than
record,
last
we
week.
retract everything we've said in every previous episode.
Lifetime
personally.
membership. You should sell that, Dave.
Dude, we
Lifetime
should. Yeah,
membership.
infinity
Yeah.
dollars. Yeah.
And then
Who ate my
immediately
chips?
cancel Patreon.
Buffing the stuff, Craig McLaughlin, Alexandria Pickers, CJ Benz
Yeah.
Fines,
CJ
the
Benz
Flipper Skipper,
Fines.
No Nose Pickers, Brian Sempor, Beal, Superhero Headquarters, Vintage
Yes.
Sports Flips, ABC Matt, Race Hack
Yes.
Resale, and Logan Murky. All
Logan.
amazing followers at the
Amazing.
$25 level.
Some of
and
the
just a
top,
quiet and quick
the most
shout
wealthy
out
ones we have.
to Atomic Picker. The
Atomic
the
Picker.
best picker in the Lynchburg area has
Yes.
just subscribed to my ADH Dave Flips channel membership. So a little
Oh,
secret trash to cash
wow.
shout out
There
for
we-
him.
Yeah.
You're dead to me. You're
Go
dead
subscribe
me.
to
I saw
ADH
his
Dave's
wife
channel
picking a couple
membership,
weeks
guys.
ago.
April?
Yeah.
Nice.
I've been
Yeah.
picking with them.
He's
Gave
mostly
me
into
some
digital
cards last time I
cameras,
was up
folks.
there. Very good people. Atomic Pickers. I
Hey,
like what we're.
I got a
I
great
love the name
digital
Atomic
camera
Pickers.
this
By
week.
the way, I think it's a really good name.
Yeah.
Dave, digital cameras are creeping back up.
I
I'm
know,
telling
I
you.
sold one for
telling you,
$239
they're
last
doing
week.
good. Yeah.
And I sold
I
one
bought
for
a cheap one.
$169 the week before.
I bought a
Okay.
cheap one. I'm like,
J
looked it up
Ride's been
online.
talking about this for months. Are you just like watching J Ride's TikToks and then just saying you found out something? Because
No,
I'm selling
I don't-
glasses frames
I don't
only
really
now.
watch
because of J
reselling
Ride.
TikToks, to be honest with you. I'm mostly
Yeah,
into
but some of
tornado
us will-
TikToks now.
Dude.
No, last
yeah.
week I'm just mostly into tornado TikToks. These
wondering
tornadoes
what the
were
likelihood-
So freaking cool. I mean, I hate that they cause destruction, but they were.
I feel like
beautiful. Looking.
Yeah. I felt
They
like
were
I wasn't afraid of
6 miles
tornadoes
wide.
for my whole life until I saw those. I'm like, those are some real tornadoes. I would be a little bit
They're nuts,
apprehensive.
man. Can you imagine looking out your house and seeing a 2-mile wide tornado? It's just insane. Did any of
Yeah.
you guys see that? I know we got some people in Middle America. Comment down below. Let us know if you saw them. That
Hey.
was crazy.
Brad Relic says, "Hey, yeah, Kevin, you can send me that Rolex.
Told
I'll
you
be
he'd
sure
take it.
to authenticate it for you, brother."
Told you, take it.
He bought some wrestling cards on me the other day. I appreciate that.
Nice. That's
Shout
cool.
out Nevermore Antiques. Shout out.
Yeah, Raven.
The Raven.
Quote the
The
Raven.
bell tolls.
Nevermore.
Yeah, yeah.
They're making another Twister movie, by the way. Twister
Twisters
2.
with an S.
Twister, yeah. All right, that's probably-
Documentary.
But I also saw the trailer
Second
tonight
documentary.
for Beetlejuice. I saw the trailer for Beetlejuice.
Yeah, dude.
Beetlejuice.
What do you
I
think about
actually want to see that.
How many
I
times
haven't
have we
seen it
said it?
since it was
Don't
in
say the
theater.
word again, by the way, guys. I
Beetlejuice.
think we're at two. Ah, crap. Which house is he going to appear in? He has to choose.
This would be a good place to put a joke about someone. He's already living with you, Cary. Your stepson. I don't know.
Oh, Cheryl Shiny Squirrel says Kevin was more ADHD this day than Dave was. What was he drinking?
Yeah, what
Yeah,
was
they-
that
they
with you
think
last
you were-
week? It was
they-
weird.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
weird and
I
He
drunk.
thought he was
I
still on
watched
that
it
eBay.
back.
He thought he was still on that boring
That's
eBay
exactly
podcast.
right.
Yeah.
I was on
Yeah,
the
no,
eBay
I know.
podcast, and they let me talk. Like I talked the
Yeah.
whole time.
It's like he had taken one too
I
many
don't give Kevin
Cialises and was
permission
just
to talk the
let
whole
go.
time. It's not an option for him.
Yeah, that was such a
Kevin,
professional podcast. I watched or listened. I didn't watch. I guess I just
Did you?
watched I stared at the wall blankly while I was listening.
Well,
And
how'd you think?
that
How'd you
was
like it?
how you do a podcast. They were like, "Hello, guys. Welcome.
Yeah,
welcome.
the
Welcome to
voice
the
is
eBay
so-
for
it's like
Business
listening to-
podcast, where we talk about how resellers can up their game so that they can make more money and live in the modern economy." It was like stuff like that.
Wow.
If you
We should
ever
do
listen
that.
to NPR, it's like
Yeah,
listening
it
to
was
an
very
NPR,
NPR.
thing. I'm like,
Wow.
what is
Exactly.
this?
Felt like I was going to learn something, and it felt weird.
Do you think
I'm not
anyone
a-
can resell?
No,
You don't think so?
no.
Okay.
I mean,
Why-
anybody can try it, but
Well,
not be good at
Anybody can cook, Gusto said in Ratatouille. Why can't anybody resell, right? If you just put a little effort into
it. Well, I'll just say this: anybody who is able to learn can resell, but there's a lot of people who just can't learn lessons. Oh, I mean, you just can't. And picking is not some. I don't want to say it's like some Jedi skill, but I'm telling you, I've seen good pickers pick before.
But are the people
and
who are
they're-
bad pickers because they're bad students? They're not applying themselves. They're not doing the
Yes.
necessary study and work. So if anybody were to put in the work, the study, were to push themselves,
All right, Cary,
they
you know
could be
this.
maybe as good as Dave. I mean, that would be like a low
You know
level.
this.
Well, I don't study at all. I just use the
Exactly.
Jedi stuff that Kevin was talking about. I'm
Listen.
not studying.
No, but you are studying. Every time you go out picking and come back and comp something, you're
true.
studying.
Eh,
is
But-
true.
You know this, Cary. Both of you know this. And you guys you're way more pop culture knowledge than me, especially anything after like 1986, right? But if you have that ability to kind of just imagine those vintage eras and the colors and the different designs and stuff, you can find stuff that you've never seen before and you know it's a winner. You know it is. But there's a lot of people who don't have that. They don't have the cultural background, I guess, or whatever. They just don't have it. And so they have to learn the process. Well,
Well, there's people picking from different eras, right? So they have different nostalgia than we do.
no doubt.
maybe, and,
No doubt.
And maybe it'd be harder for me to pick Kevin's stuff, but I'm learning it, from the 50s.
Yeah, like
And I
it's
can't- I
It's
struggle
mostly
with
like you know
yours.
those super old dusty Bibles and stuff, like from the 1880s. That's like Kevin's stuff. It's like the the old photos where
Ephemera.
half the people are
Yep.
dead and being stood up. That's like
Yep.
his era.
Yeah.
That was a thing, by the way.
That
It
was.
was.
So there's a podcast all about that. How weird is that? So I don't know what I was going to say. Man, I lost it.
You were talking about how
Oh,
not everyone can
I
be a
could
picker.
walk past, like, if it wasn't for Dave and the Fugler thing, I would have probably walked past Fugler's, right?
You should
Except
again.
for
You should
Real
the
human
more-
teeth, which I
Are
feel
they
like should
bad
be
again?
illegal.
They re-released them at Walmart, so walk past them.
okay.
I mean, there's a
Okay.
few that are still valuable, but
Okay, but see, you
there's a lot of
learned
the
that,
new
right?
release,
You know
yeah.
that. How'd you learn that, right?
How did I learn that? I went to
Yeah.
Walmart and I bought.
We were at
them.
Walmart and I
Darn
went
flip
bananas
board.
buying them.
I don't go into Walmart and buy anything, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't ever know that.
Yeah,
Too
see, I'm
bougie
glad
for
I warned
Walmart.
you.
You heard it here first.
I mean, listen.
Only Neiman and Marcus for Kevin.
No.
You should
I
still
don't
buy
go
the
anywhere
Fuglers,
by
Kevin,
it.
and send them to me. Don't get me wrong. It
Okay,
would,
all right.
I don't know if you've seen my back shelf
But
here lately,
it's-
but that's literally all I got.
Disturbing.
Yeah. Same thing with
Disturbing.
like jelly cats, Cary. You know, you gotta immerse your stuff in this stuff. You can't just pick
Dude, they're-
what you pick and never expand. I said that on
That's
eBay,
what I
think.
love. Honestly, in
expand
all
that
seriousness, that's what I love about reselling. You can get on a kick, like an interest, at a thrift store, garage sale. The thrift store is a great place because everything's organized typically at a decent thrift
Hate
store.
it.
So you can be like, I want to learn how to, resell plush. You could watch Dawn; she's good at it. But you could literally go, especially at a DI where they have hundreds of plush. You can go through and just feel them, and you can start looking them up. And you're if you go often enough, you're going to start to
Learn
have
what
that
mohair is. Yeah,
yeah, you're
all
gonna
that
start.
stuff.
It's sometimes. I mean, like, because like even with
Sniff
clothing, and
'em.
I'm not a huge clothing person. Like, I'll feel a piece sometimes. I'm like, there's something about this. It feels like a good quality. And
Well,
then you'll look up the brand, and then you'll learn oh, this
Purses.
brand's
You can
good.
do that with purses too.
I'm basically doing that right now with jewelry. Like I said, anything that's got a name for $2, I'm buying.
Yeah,
and I'm coming
I-
home and I'm confident and seeing if I should buy it again. And like Chico's, I'm gonna buy, and black market, White House black market, I'm gonna buy. It's not great, but it's good enough that I'll buy it for $2. And Chanel, this weird one I found, seems to be decent.
Channel, yeah, Channel is very
Chanel.
good.
Actually, it turns out I think the Chanel I got the clip-on earrings might be counterfeit, so it might not be. I thought I found $200 clip-on.
I picked up a little clasp bracelet down there at the first day I was down there with you in January, Dave. I was out there. It was raining that rainy day, and it was a vintage one. and I picked it up for $5, and because I saw the name on it, and it was broken, and I sold it for $150.
But dude, that's how I learned golf clubs too. I said I'm gonna buy any golf club that's $1, and slowly over time,
You
I'm
should have
learning
bought
and
a
learning and learning.
course. Uncle
And
Steve
now,
Picker,
no, you
make
don't
a
need to
course.
buy a course. Just do this, and then
I know
I
this.
was like, I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm now comfortable with buying pings, almost any ping for $5. You know, and I'll buy a TaylorMade for $5 usually, or Titleist for $5, or Mizuno for $5, and now maybe I'll
Adams.
consider what that new brand you taught me, Tommy Armour or whatever, for $5.
Some of them. Yeah.
Some of them, you know, Adams maybe $5. So
Skip
anyways,
those
and
crappy
then-
Scotty Camerons, though. You don't want that.
and then you're
Yeah.
like, okay, so
Send them
if
to
I find a
Kevin.
Nike, I'm probably going to consider it at 20. You know, like you start to
They
learn.
don't make them anymore.
Yeah, so you'll buy a Nike for 20 and you'll sell it for 60 really fast. And so like
I mean, reselling
I just
is
did that.
all pattern recognition. It's just all
Yeah.
pattern recognition. I'm like with sports cards. I mean, that's all it is when you're digging through the boxes like I do. You start to there's so many levels of nuance that you don't even realize that you're computing with picking
Yeah.
or
Well,
whatever, that you're
I
just like, oh, it's
picked
a
up-
brand, it's a player, it's a team, it's a whatever. You look it
I
up.
picked up cards. I picked up these wrestling cards, right? And I like wrestling. I know good wrestlers, but I didn't know like what was the rookie card of these 6 wrestlers. And now I do, just simply because I bought it and I processed it, and now I know.
What year? What year is Bret Hart's?
Oh, I
rookie
saw
card?
your 87. There you go. I saw your 87 where you
87.
could not pronounce Jim Neidhart correctly.
Yes,
You called
I
him
had
Neidhart.
trouble. This is the thing
And
too.
everybody came after you and
I
told you
don't
to wear
correct.
gloves.
I don't. Yeah, I don't correct myself. I grew my thumbnails out because I got tired of hearing about me chewing my thumbnails. But you know, sometimes I just wing those ad libs when I'm talking,
They're
and I don't
perfect
correct
that
it.
way.
I don't correct it. Like
No.
I did one the other day. It was 1987 Tops, great one. And I know who Lou Whitaker is. I grew up with Lou Whitaker on the Tigers. Him and Alan
Hitting
Trammell.
second baseman.
I
Lefty.
went back and listened to my voiceover, and I called him Lou Willikers. Like, gee Willikers. And I'm like, that's too
Willikers,
good.
Lou.
I had no idea I did that. I'm like, I'm leaving Willikers in there. Not like, because I literally I was trying to do it correct because people roast me. And then I'm like, the first name I mess up horribly. And that's all I'm hearing is Lou
It was
Willikers.
better that it was the first one.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. I'm not like J-Ride where I intentionally do that, try to throw you
Yeah.
off. Because people can sense when you're intentionally doing
Fake.
that, honestly.
J-Ride.
They
Yeah,
can,
they're
yeah.
fake.
Well, we
Fake
got a
J-Ride.
couple questions on Patreon.
They apparently can't with Brandon.
Yeah,
Well, that's
Brandon's
because
like
Brandon
a dweeb.
wasn't joking.
No, he wasn't joking. That's why I can do it
legitimately
too,
being a
because
nerd.
it naturally happens.
Yeah, yeah. Wolfman's Goodies, what is the fanciest restaurant that you've eaten at, and how much was the bill? I feel like we've talked about this.
Dave's is going to be far fancier than mine.
Oh, Dave,
Yeah.
yeah, Dave's been in been on the
Individual
business
bill,
critic.
no, individual bill was like $250 in Japan at like a teppanyaki place, just for one person. But then I've done like group dinners where it was thousands of dollars. I mean, I didn't pay for that one, but there's one where the CEO paid, and I heard it was 18 grand for one meal for like 10 people. And the food wasn't that good. That's what I've learned. The fancier the food, the worse it is. Take me to
Ooh.
McDonald's.
Blimpies? Did you have a big Blimpies order, Kevin, once? Or
Most
Domino's?
expensive I ever had, I think, was right here in Lynchburg, a little place called Shoemakers.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to remember the name of the place. It was
But-
in Utah. It was a French restaurant that kind of went out of business. But we went there a couple times. It's like over 100, I think, a person. That's
Had
pretty
it.
wild.
Coffee filet mignon. They roll it in coffee. I don't know. Anyway, hey, Cary, you should feel good. You're in good
Lakai.
company being
Lakai.
completely wrong. Completely wrong, but good
About what?
company. Over the years, by the way, he commented like 9 times in like 12 minutes. He's got
I love
problems.
that. Yeah, he's
boy.
one of the people that comments as the podcast is going on and just
Yeah,
keeps adding
he's helping the
comments.
algorithm. Thank you,
It's
Tim.
awesome.
He says, I'm with Cary. I would think more people use flat rate than calculated, which is
Wrong.
completely wrong. Not even close. He does say it's 2024. Who is using calculated shipping?
Everyone.
Exactly.
Which is
Literally
funny.
everyone.
But Tim's a good reseller, so I'm trying to convert people. I guarantee you there are more people using flat rate now than ever. Although this might change with this whole opt-in thing. It may not be as beneficial as before, but it's just
Alexandria Pickers over on Patreon said, going to the Phillies game this Friday against the Giants and Dave's cousin-in-law. Fingers crossed, I win the money.
Hey,
What is this win
just-
the money? So is this
just-
like what Brian did? They do like gambling during the games, Cary?
They'll have like raffles at a lot of MLB
okay.
games where it's like 50-50 raffles. I don't know how it's legal, but they do it. I don't
Well,
really
and
understand
Alexandria
the laws.
Picker is
but-
a Patreon, so he has a good chance of winning.
Yeah, I feel like you get better luck. We can't verify that with any real logic, but we're going to say it.
Exactly.
Allegedly.
All right, what, Kevin?
Oh, I didn't have anything.
Craig McLaughlin,
Oh,
if
I know
Hollywood
what it
came and wanted to do a sitcom inspired by each of your lives individually, who do you think would be best actor to play you? I feel like we've talked about this before, too. Which show would have the best chance of succeeding? Side note, Cary and Kevin got some cool stuff from your Dibbed at Card Auctions the other days. I'm Bigo on there. Big guy on horror on YouTube. Keep killing it, Craig.
Thank you.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
you, man.
for your purchases.
Yeah,
Come on,
Dibbed
join
at
us on
.com,
Friday.
guys.
Selling
Dibbed at
stuff
.com.
cheap.
I'm selling plushies.
All right. I'm going to sell them too.
Hollywood came and
Who's
wanted
playing
to do a
us?
sitcom.
I don't know,
You're
wait a
going to
minute.
be
But it
whoever
can't-
did Al Borland, right?
We kind of did, no, but see, that was a different question, right? That was like who looked like you as opposed to who would do a good job playing you.
That's a good question.
I think the guy, do you know Shrek, Dave?
Yes, I've
What's
seen
the bad guy in Shrek? Like
the little
king
midget
that's-
guy?
Lord Farquaad
Yeah,
or whatever.
that's who would play Dave.
Yeah,
right?
whoever
No.
voiced Lord Farquaad.
No.
He's got the chin. He's got the.
For
think
me,
that's
I would
it.
pick an actor with range,
Hey,
probably like a
the
Kate
guy-
Blanchett. Personally,
the guy
for me.
who's
I
Wait,
would
no.
want Charlie Day to play me, and I think he'd do a
Charlie
fantastic
Day is a good
job.
one. I could see
Charlie Day
playing
could be
him.
a perfect ADH Dave. He gets all like, ah! And he's got the little beard. He's short. Charlie Day would be perfect. The guy from Always Sunny. For me. For Cary, though...
That was John Lithgow, by the way, who played that character.
Yeah, no, I
John
think
Lithgow.
Charlie Day... Guys, comment down below. John Lithgow or Charlie Day for me. I think Charlie Day.
I'm
I'd go
thinking
with like
for
a shirtless Brad Pitt.
I don't know
would be
who
mine.
Charlie Day is.
You'd know him if you saw him, Kev.
He's in Horrible Bosses 1 and 2.
Yeah, he's the funniest guy on that one, too.
Charlie
Have you
Day is
seen
in
Horrible
Always
Bosses?
Sunny. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, Charlie Day, this guy, Kev.
This guy.
Look at your screen there. This guy. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like
he has no
that.
clue.
I could see that. I mean, I recognize him. I couldn't tell you. I
Yeah, I
think
could see Charlie Day.
Cary. Who could play Cary? They're all dead. All the people who play Cary.
That's
you.
because you only think of movies from the 50s.
He's like
Probably true.
Spencer Tracy,
Let me think of somebody who's
Buster
alive.
Keaton.
I was thinking Sam Kinison. That would be good. Comedian,
Sam
kind
Kinison,
of
yeah.
just, but he's
like
a little
Sam
too
Kinison.
edgy for Cary.
Yeah.
So.
I'm kind of like a blunted Sam
Like Chris
Kinison.
Farley. Like a mix
take-
between the two might be.
You're just picking slightly overweight comedians. I
That's
think.
true. That's a little
Not like the
harsh.
fattest one.
How about Bill Murray? Bill
Bill
Murray
Murray,
do
I'd
a
take
good
that.
Cary.
I think so. Yeah, because like he does the comedy, but he's also kind of
Kind of a
Manic.
little slight. Yeah.
I
What
just
was
asked,
that movie
I
he
asked
did?
ChatGPT who would portray Commonwealth Picker in a Hollywood sitcom,
Oh,
and it
Ernest.
said Chris Pratt.
Chris.
Oh,
Pratt.
well, of course.
Yeah,
I mean, that's. Yes.
obviously.
A good choice might be Chris Pratt, known for his affable and comedic roles in films and TV series like Parks
And incredible
Recreation.
abs.
His ability to blend humor with down-to-earth charm would likely make him a
Oh,
fitting
I
actor.
like this.
Look at
This
that.
is
Yeah,
good.
I
At
think
least
that's
it's not
really-
Ron Howard.
Or Ron Swanson. Not Ron Howard. Actually, Ron Howard would work for you. That's a good point.
Who's the
I still
guy
think you're
that
fixing
played John Boy? He's probably dead by now.
Fields. This guy's references. How old are you?
John Boy. Who's the guy that played the professor on Gilligan's Island?
Listen, I grew up. My dad is like he's still like a high schooler. Pop, if you're listening, this is all endearing and I love it. But he stayed like a teenager in his mind his whole life as far as his interests. Like he watches Daniel Boone. He watched all that stuff when I was a kid, and that's all he watched. Although I'm thankful he watched Married with Children because that was cool.
My dad was older than both of your guys' dads, so I would watch black and white Audie Murphy movies. I love Audie Murphy, by the way.
Yeah.
Audie Murphy, like in his country western phase, the famed World War II hero.
What was that
So-
sitcom from the 90s with like two guys that were like very...
In
or
one cup?
One of the guys was like very neat and clean cut.
From the 90s?
From the
The
90s.
Odd Couple, that's way
Yeah,
before
but that was they redid that, but not in the 90s.
What about the
two-
one with Perfect Strangers?
Frasier.
Strangers.
Frasier. Who's the guy who
Frasier.
played Frasier? That's Kevin.
Kelsey
Kevin
Grammer.
is the,
Oh,
Kelsey
yeah.
Grammer.
Let me just tell
and
you.
then Carrie's
Like
Kevin
erudite,
James.
but somehow.
Carrie, you're Kevin James. So it's
Oh,
Charlie
Kevin
Day,
James.
Kevin James, and what's the guy's name from
Kevin
Frasier?
James, I could take. Yeah.
What's the
guy?
guy from
Kelsey
Frasier?
Grammer.
Kelsey Grammer. That's our.
'Cause,
We're
like,
on the sitcom together.
I
and
would
we're
have as
sourcing and
I
picking.
I would actually enjoy like being a Segway mall cop. That would
Dude,
like,
I
that
think
would be
Kevin
fun.
James or Patton Oswalt would work for you.
Kevin
Oswalt.
James, yeah,
Either
I can
one,
see
yeah.
Kevin
I
James.
could do like a
Oh,
15-minute diatribe about Star Wars. I could do that.
Yeah, and then Kevin's Frasier. I think it's just perfect. He's like the nerdy one.
Can I
He's like the
just-
nerdy
Charlie
one
Day
that
and
thinks
Kevin
he's
James.
cool.
But
Yeah.
Frasier was the less nerdy of the two brothers. See,
Which way? Oh yeah, well the other one was the thin guy, right?
Dude, Frasier had game too, and Kevin somehow.
Niles. Niles, is that his brother
yeah.
Niles?
Can I just say that I watch Frasier almost every night with my
I've
wife?
never seen a single episode. Is it
Dude,
good?
Frasier's pretty
Yeah,
good.
it's funny.
Should I
Old
watch
Man
Golden
Marty.
Girls or Frasier? Which is better?
Ooh.
I'm never.
I think
gonna
that's
try
part
it.
of why I have anxiety. Like Dawn
Frasier,
gets
you like Frasier
comforted.
better.
Dawn gets comforted by Golden Girls, but like Golden Girls is because they're in their 60s.
It's
is
about them on the
nonstop,
precipice of death.
nonstop talking
Isn't that
about
crazy,
death,
though?
being old, going to the hospital, erectile dysfunction, which I don't have.
My parents
think?
are constantly at the doctors. Like they don't even have any symptoms, but they're just
Exactly,
always
it's
at the
constant.
doctors. Like, oh, I'm getting a
Exactly.
biopsy. Why?
Every
Why
episode.
are you getting a biopsy? I don't know. I had this thing on me. Well, does that mean you have cancer? No, I don't think so. I'm like, well, why are you doing it? It's just like,
Because
yeah,
they
get a
don't pay
biopsy.
for it.
That's right, because it's like on Medicare or whatever, so they
Mm-hmm.
just get everything checked constantly.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, I
Well, if
sold
you-
a Philippines embroidered jacket. You ever see those? Pick them up.
okay. No, okay.
It's
Kevin,
just,
thank
it
you.
satin
says
jacket.
Philippines on it or made in the
It
Philippines.
says Philippines on it. There's a lot. That's a lot of the folks, would go to different places when they were in Vietnam, and they would pick up these different things.
We
and they'd
kind of
come back
already
here and they
answered
sell.
Susquehanna Picker's question. He said, when testing something and you realize you don't have any 9-volt batteries, have you ever borrowed it briefly from the smoke detector? Because I just said, no, we just don't test it unless it is working. Susquehanna Picker.
just-
We've
So
covered
here's
that.
my trick. Here's
Get it
my
out of the
trick.
toys and you'll be fine.
It took my kids a long time to catch on to this, but here's my trick. So they have these giant stockings that my mom made for them, and so you got to fill these stinking things up. And so every year I get giant packs of batteries and put it in everybody's stocking. And then when Christmas is over, I take all the batteries out and put them in the shed, and I got them.
Do you write it off as a
Really
business thing?
Oh, totally.
sure Kevin
You think-
does, yeah.
Listen, half their stockings are right. I put tape in there, throw a
American
bubble
Bubble Boy
wrap in
tape,
there.
Commonwealth Picker gibbets for their Crocs.
It's like, thanks a lot for this razor blade,
Entenmann.
Pop. I love it.
It's like I got another Entenmann. Reagan's getting her own Christmas ornaments back to her. That's,
Dave,
yeah.
this is some inspiration. I just sold an Electrolux nozzle,
Okay.
$60 plus shipping. Go list
But
your
they look
vacuum
so
cleaner
they look
parts.
so good in my. I told you I bought another one this weekend, right?
See, I have discipline. See, if you got two of them, you're not allowed to buy
No,
them.
I just keep. I know they're valuable. They're not going to go down. They're all vintage. Like, just keep buying them.
$60 just for the nozzle, and you get like 40 or so for the hose. You don't have to sell the vacuum cleaner. Just sell those.
Well, okay.
it's
So
starting out
so
vacuum cleaner talk.
sourcing-
I love it.
Kevin, sourcing. You said you went to a community sale. Did you say what? Like, did you have a good score? Like, what did you get?
You
Or
know,
was it just bread and butter? Some
was a
people
lot
hate
of
the
bread and
term
butter.
bread and butter.
the very last sale I went to, it was 12:30. I mean, there was enough sales to keep going till 12:30, which just doesn't happen around here. But it was a community sale that I absolutely did not go to because it was the most advertised of the community sales. And I'm like, I'm not going there. I've been having good luck going other places than where everybody else goes. But I went to it after the fact, and it was totally picked over. But last sale I go to, these people are putting this stuff up, two young kids, like in their 20s, and I pull up there with my camera on. They're like, oh, dude, you have a YouTube channel? I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, what is it? You know, I want to look it up, whatever. I'm like, well, I'll tell it to you as soon as you sell me these right here. And they had the Pokemon. You guys probably know these. The Pokemon Burger King 23 karat gold little things in a box. You ever bought those?
Yeah,
the
like
little
the
balls?
cards and stuff.
Mm-hmm. He had 4 of those. He wanted $15 a piece because kids want a ton of money. Kids meaning in their 20s.
Yeah.
They want a ton of money for their stuff. I got
They
another
think-
story about that. Like college kids are like, it was a champion, what do they call them? Double weave, single weave? I don't know what they call them, the weave ones. And they're like, I'm like, how much for this? And she's like, oh, most of the clothes are $1. And I picked that up. She's like, oh, that's 10. I'm like, what? Like, I'm not doing that. Anyway,
You
The
can't
guy
get
sold
one
them to me
over on
for
the smart
$10.
kids. That's true. They've been educated.
$10 a piece, and then I told him my YouTube channel, and he looked it up, and he's like, so this is why you wanted to buy it off me. I'm like, yeah, thanks, bud.
What do those sell for?
Appreciate it. Some of them go for $50. The box isn't in great shape. It's probably 45
Yeah, I'm just like
each, so that's
What
not
were
bad.
you doing there, dude? That was weird.
My neck
40 into
hurts.
160.
This is a piece of metal, and I was massaging my neck with it. It's actually pretty good. It's pretty functional.
Oh, I'll tell you
man.
what I found. I got to look these up. But Guess clothes, Cary, I don't know if y'all remember Guess clothes.
Yeah,
The
Guess, the question
80s.
mark.
I guess I do.
But USA, all made in the USA, found a whole box full of this stuff. $1 a piece. Just
One day
crazy
I'll wear
good
clothes.
stuff.
Did you used to wear, like,
down
back in
there.
the day when you were younger, Kevin, did you used to wear those football jerseys that were mesh and that were, like, up to your belly button and they were see-through
No,
and stuff?
no, I did not wear those.
I did.
wear
They weren't
the-
in style when I was wearing them, but I did.
Them and the
No.
blowout fade. Cary, when are you gonna get a blowout fade? The mullet's like the 12.
Dude, my whole high school, dude, it was all about steps. Do you remember Alien Ant Farm? That song?
Yeah.
And yeah, remember the dude, he had like the step right down the middle of
Is
his
that the right
buzz
song?
cut? I did that. I had steps like that. I had steps on the side. I did all sorts of steps. I was cool. I was a very cool kid.
Well, okay, so Cary, you said you
Very
went to
cool.
a garage sale. You were very
garage,
cool. We've established
yes.
that. And you didn't buy the cards, did you? And you got the bunch of like little. Was that your best thing? Like little bags of toys for $1?
Yeah, that really
Anything
was.
else
We went to
notable?
another
Okay.
yard sale where we got some like kind of cruddy. I don't even think I'm going to share the footage because it was pretty just not great vintage clothing that might be $15. We're just going to kind of try it out. It was $1 though, so the price was right.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was. I don't like yard sales in Vegas that much. It's just like a lot of junk. It's
Time
not
did you
like
get up?
this is details. Listen,
No, that's a big detail.
I got up at
telling
like
you.
8:30. It was like out the door at like 9:30. I was hitting. I was got
How
the
often
good.
are you the first person in a yard sale?
If I'm hanging out with you guys all the time, when I'm by myself, never.
If
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
the first person at a garage sale, I am ticked.
I
was
hear
there.
this is how good I am at yard sales. I don't have to be the first person.
No, you
I
don't
found
have
a
to be.
bag full of Ninja Turtles for $1. Is
But
it because
if
I'm
you
one of the
can
best resellers in the world? That might be it.
Yes.
I don't know. Does
Well,
Michael
I'll
Jordan
tell
have to
you-
practice because he's good?
Michael
He
B.
doesn't
Jordan
have.
does.
Michael B. Jordan did, yeah.
Listen, okay, so I went
You're right.
Friday
Yeah,
and
I
Saturday.
need to. I'm just glad I got up and went. Honestly,
I'm still like.
I was just
I'm
happy to be there.
pursuing- I'm pursuing this dream of not picking in June and July, except for the first
That's
weekend.
so weird, man.
I really want to not pick in June and July. It's so hot here, Cary. You've been here in midsummer. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And so my goal is to not pick in June and July, and to do that, I'm trying to like capture as much footage and get as much inventory as I can through the end of the month, which means Friday yard sales every week for the next month. Every week I'm doing, and I did Friday, and Friday I did better than Saturday. I did, Kevin. Friday I did better than Saturday.
I went. There was only one Friday sale. I went to it, and this is the first Friday that I have not found. I bought one thing at the sale. It was brutal, but I've been dedicated to Friday sales. Been 4 straight Fridays, and 3 of them were absolutely killer.
Yeah. Well, the Friday was better than Saturday, but that's because Saturday really sucked. And the reason Saturday sucked is because there was no rain in the forecast at all. And as we're driving to the first sale at 7 a.m., torrential downpour starts. And we get out to this community, and like, it only torrentially downpoured for like 5 minutes. We get there, and people are like pulling stuff back out of their garage because they had set up, and then they had to like run it inside. And so they're pulling it back out of the garage. And like 10 minutes later, it starts to torrentially downpour again. And it does this for an hour. All the way to like 8:15, it just stops, downpour, stops, downpour. And by the time like everyone gave up, they just gave up, and they just didn't bring their stuff back out. And we went to these community sales that said they had thousands of homes and that there's gonna be hundreds of participants. We three garage sales in the whole community, right? And so it was just
That sounded like my good community around here.
yeah, it was very frustrating.
Yeah, that's tough. It's tough. And it was everybody I talked to, like the pickers that were out there, like, hey, did you go to this and did you go? And I'm like, how did you do? And most of the time people are willing to tell you, hey, this is what I found, whatever. And everybody to a person was like, it was terrible. And mine ended up being pretty good, but it was just because I had some weird finds, like that box of clothing. Like there's a whole sale of nothing but boxes of clothing that nobody wants to dig through. But because I wasn't finding anything, I just started pulling it, and there's a whole box full of that stuff. It's probably $300-400 worth, only selling maybe half of it off.
Yeah,
It wasn't bad.
So
So
it
do you
would
have-
be
do you have
700
a-
or 800 if you sold it all off. Why did you just say half? That's weird.
Well,
Yeah, it
because
is weird.
a lot of
Maybe
you know,
if you
link
sold
to
a
the rest of
third, it
it?
would have been 1 to 200.
are you gonna sell
or something, right?
a $10? It had some Guess jean shorts that were made in the USA that are probably
are you gonna keep
$30
those?
shorts, but they had paint on them, right? Are you gonna sell them for 10?
Evan
People
pays
like
extra
paint
for
on
paint
the.
and rips.
Yeah, they really do. That's in style right now, honestly.
Well,
like,
what I'm
beat
gonna
up
do
stuff.
is put them in a box and sell them off on.
There's
on
grown
whatnot,
men
and then
right now
sell the
walking
other
around with
goods.
holes in their jeans and stuff, so those will sell.
Mid
Yeah,
60s.
sold a lounge chair, y'all. It's been a long
Late-
time.
late 60s,
$49.95 plus shipping.
Okay, let's stop talking about sales for a minute, though, Kev. I want you to provide a bolo. Did you learn any new bolos this
bolo.
week? You want to share?
New bolos.
Bolo
New
of
This is
the
something we
week.
just came up. What's a bolo, by the way? I haven't heard this term.
Buy
bolos.
on llama.
Buy on llamas only?
You can't use my Rainforest Cafe plates.
Well, I can tell you this. It's not a new
Tractors.
one.
You can have that.
It's not a new one, but it's new to me because I've sold these for years, and the value of them right now, for whatever reason, is high. It's these glowworms. I just sold one for $60. I sold one for $70 last week.
Glowworms, guys. Be careful.
The modern ones. This
Not
is
all
from the
worms are
80s.
good. Sometimes they're inside your
1982.
body.
The ones you're gonna find though next week after Kevin mentions it
I have
is the
found
modern ones.
3 of these.
Is the
in
modern
last
ones that are
month.
worth $4
2 months.
because you got to be careful.
Yes,
Make
that's
sure you
true.
find the vintage ones.
That's true. With the green
Look 'em up
hat,
on
yellow
eBay. Yeah.
yellow thing coming off of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mine is something
sure.
that is probably something everyone already knows, but I went on a hunch because it seemed like it'd be good. Cary definitely knows this with his antique shop.
Folk Manus.
Glass doorknobs. Glass
Yeah.
doorknobs.
People love
antique
fancy
glass doorknobs. I
doorknobs.
didn't know that was a thing, but I saw a bag of 4 of them for $10. I went for it. I sold them immediately for $14.
You don't want
I'd
them in
There you
rather
your
go.
listed
antique.
them higher.
You don't want them in your antique store though, because those are very keisterable.
But listen,
Doorknobs.
there's where you won though, because you sold them all together.
I sold
That's
them all
what
together
people
for
want.
40,
They
yeah.
want to buy. It's very difficult to sell a one-off unless somebody's trying to replace one.
Oh yeah.
They want a new set for all
So
their
like
doors.
a lot of 2 at least, right? That's the goal because you get both sides.
Some
of the door.
people will
You need
use
both
the
sides.
doorknobs for home decor too. They'll put it in like their fancy
Mm-hmm.
man room where they'll have a doorknob and like an old creepy picture,
Yep.
and then they'll have like just some lace or something.
Though, Cary, did I sell them for too cheap though? $10 a piece. 40.
I'd
for
say
4.
that was if they're vintage. Were they
They
vintage?
sold. They sold very fast.
I would say that was too cheap. Yes.
No, it depends on which kind they are. I mean, do they look like they're like Art
Depends on what
Deco-y,
they-
or are they?
it depends
they were
on what they
decorated.
look
They were
like.
cool. They were cool.
If they look like they'd be like the doorknob to the haunted mansion
do,
at
kinda,
Disneyland,
yes.
then that's probably too cheap.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's kind
mean?
of what they looked like.
Seriously.
I think I could have probably gotten 60 in retrospect, but again, it was 10 to 40 in 10 minutes, so I'm not.
I'd
gonna-
cancel the sale and up the price is what I would do.
That's a good idea. Cary, you got a new bolo for us?
Yeah, this is something I found 100%. Through,
Other
via
than the
Dawn,
watch,
via
the Game
Dawn,
Watch. Other than
via
the
Dawn, via Dawn. Dawn was the vehicle which found it, but I was the driver that taught the
Inspiration
vehicle how to
that
find
caused
stuff. I was the twinkle in her eye that made her motivated to find this. She found a Disney.
Cary's not.
Disney. Cary's what?
I would say Cary's not providing. I have inspiration. Necessity is the mother of
This
invention.
is how I provide for my family, by inspiring those, much like you, inspiring those around me to do the real work. Disney
right.
Sleeping Beauty, Aurora, Hourglass, Snow Globe, music
Oh,
and
I saw
lights.
that on our Instagram.
That's sold
yeah.
today for $130, guys. It was just a cool snow
Plus
globe.
140 shipping.
So what
$20
that means the
shipping.
bolo is Disney snow globes. Though,
Yeah,
right?
if you guys didn't
That's-
know
that's
Disney,
pretty known.
okay, you want to you.
I want a little more
bad ones.
obscure.
Okay,
Go
you
to
want something
obscure.
more obscure.
They
Okay,
have
something
yellow
more
water
obscure.
in it.
I sold. Well, this isn't obscure, but I sold this. Well, no, I paid too much for that. I can't share that. I sold.
Don't tell us what you paid for it.
I sold the Wedgwood, but people know Wedgwood, right?
Man,
I sold the
Wedgwood's
Rally
tough. My
Monkey.
wife
I sold a
picked
bunch of cards, but you guys have made it. Oh, I sold. Well, I didn't find this, but I posted
I don't care
it.
if you found it. I'm just asking for bolo.
Dude, like the vintage 70s plushes. You know that though. But there's the Warner Brothers characters, which is like Roadrunner and Elmer Fudd.
Yeah.
A wall cling. I couldn't find. I actually listed this. I couldn't find any of the
Wile E.
Roadrunner.
Coyote.
Yeah, there's a Wiley. I'm
There's a
assuming.
big Wiley that sells for big bucks.
Yeah,
But
but like I had never. I think in all my days I'd never seen character variations of these, which are from the 70s, from what I can find out. I couldn't find any wall clings, so I priced it about the range that the other ones were selling. It sold for $35, like within hours. Within hours of me listing it, and I listed it late because I'm not a morning person, so. Yeah, those vintage wall clings. You could think like Garfield. Those are the most famous. You got to be careful with those, though.
One.
With
Hard
wall
to keep
clings
her.
or window clings, a lot of times they were put in windows because in the 80s they didn't care about safety. They just covered their back windows with wall clings and window clings, and they didn't say there was a baby on board, so you had no idea if you were rear-ending somebody and there was a baby you could hurt. So they'd have sun damage is what I'm saying. A lot of the Garfields will have sun damage because they were on windows for all that time. And the sun, I don't know if you know this, over time if the sun is on, if the sun is
You're making the dumbest point ever. Sun damage exists, guys.
No, listen, Dave. Do you know if the sun is out there sunning and stuff, and it's
You
like
get a
rays?
sunburn.
Yeah, there's UV rays, Dave. There's UV rays, cancerous. They can cause cancer. By the way, I read about that. They can destroy those window clings. Is what I'm saying, dude. I don't know if you knew that.
So,
You know what I'm saying? Also, the suction cups can become less sectiony over time.
yes, that is
Yeah,
true.
dude.
They become a little
Anything's a
cracked
suction
and
cup if
crispy.
you believe in it. I didn't think that through. I'm not sure how that works, but.
So someone said, which one of you has the most toxic comment section on social?
Dave, or no, Cary, because of TikTok.
Because of TikTok.
No, let's say
TikTok is
YouTube.
incessant.
Let's narrow it down to
YouTube would be Dave, yeah.
It's me,
Dave.
yeah, on YouTube, yeah.
I get Dave's toxicity coming over it, ripping
Yeah.
Dave on mine.
Yeah.
Although
Oh, yeah.
you didn't see this, but my Sunday video, Dave, has I picked up a
You
mask.
have a
like,
weird video release schedule, by the way, but go on.
Yeah.
Why?
You're very weekend heavy. I don't release anything on the weekend.
What are you talking about?
You release something on Saturday and on Sunday.
I release something every day, Dave. Every day. Well,
So,
I don't do
a poopy.
Tuesday and Friday. Well, I will tell you that I think that Fridays are better to release heading into the weekend than on Sundays. But I've always done Wednesdays and
But you did
Sundays for
Saturday
picker
morning
videos.
when everyone's at garage sales.
I do Saturday mornings.
That's weird.
They hit every week. It's my best day for flipper videos.
Weird.
Every single week.
Yeah, isn't
people
that
should
like
be
Saturday
sourcing.
morning?
Guys, you should
Look.
be sourcing, not watching Kevin's garbage video.
No,
Yeah,
dude.
exactly.
No. Look,
If you're watching, yeah, it's because most of the people are in the retirement homes. They're wishing they could
it
go back
doesn't
out.
come out of the box. It doesn't come out of the box hot, but the Saturday releases do good, and almost every week. But I'm releasing on Tuesday, so when this one comes out, I'm going to actually release a picker video on the same day this podcast comes out, which I never do. And I think you do picker videos on Tuesdays, Dave, don't you?
My picker videos are Tuesday, Friday, yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
So
Because
My release schedule-
Because Kayla's always on Thursday, so I don't touch Thursday with a 10-foot pole.
well, I'm going to do this week only. I'm going to do 3 picker videos. I'm going to do it on Tuesday because I'm promoting. It's the glass sale. I'm promoting that glass sale, so it was my glass find.
It's to shill stuff then.
I'm gonna.
So end it off with go check out
Yeah.
Dave's video at 2 p.m. today, your Tuesday one.
I'll have a video probably yesterday.
It's too
If you
late.
guys want to go check that out on American Arbitrage. My release
Yeah.
schedule is
You
when
still
I
have a channel
realize
called
I'm not
American
making any
Arbitrage?
more money on my channel and I need to produce something before the end of the month. That is my release schedule.
Is it really 0?
No, it's not 0. No, the freaking Karen one, the one with the Yu-Gi-Oh cards is booming. I actually have one of those Kevin videos from like last
Evergreen.
year that's like
Evergreen,
evergreen
yeah.
somehow.
Yeah.
Kevin has so many of those and they're all dumb.
Oh, they
Listen, one
do.
last question that I like from Joy Campbell. It says, have you ever gotten rid of your entire death pile and started over? I'm very tempted.
I've given stuff
Oh
away.
yeah,
heck
I saw it.
When
She's
I
over
moved,
there in the. That was in the Discord.
It's
that whole
liberating. You
thread.
should do it. People should do it more often. Like, just
No,
be like, you know what?
no,
This
you
is
should
terrible.
not get rid of the entire death pile. If anything, you should go through that death pile.
Well, get rid of the garbage in your death pile.
and pull those things that either put a dollar amount or pull them because you know you want
Those
to list them.
Tupperware lids you were finagled into buying, throw them out. They're not going to
But-
sell.
But
Yeah.
don't donate
Misled by
it.
Kevin.
Do not donate.
No,
Donate.
do a
Don't-
yard
don't
sale.
help others.
Do your own
Thank
yard
you.
sale.
Yeah, make the money yourself. Don't
Do a
help others
yard
who need it.
sale, Do a flea market, like you know, I don't know. Sell it out to someone else you know that's starting off on eBay. Give them a good
Yeah.
deal, and then start over.
Give them a
Yeah,
bad deal. If you're
10%.
Kevin, you can overcharge. They'll pay more just to be around Kevin.
Like a lot of Josh. Hey, Dave, we've talked about this before. Like, if you ever take a long period of time off, if your video's a hit, a lot of Josh came out in that video hit like that.
I
Really?
know. You just got to take 2 years off. That's
Or
the
you got to
key.
be likable, though.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
a lot of
that's
people
tough,
knew
I
him.
think.
You guys have talked about him a lot, so I've
Good dude.
not watched.
I don't
his
think we
content.
can-
He's a
Yeah,
closed
we-
guy, Dave. I don't think you'd like
I'm
it.
not into closed content. It's just not for me.
It's, I'm not. I vintage clothes, but not,
Yeah.
I got you. Although I'll sell
Into
anything.
the
Who cares?
Stormlight Archive.
You will. We've seen that.
All right. Thanks for watching Trash to Cash. Make sure
Trash
you
to
subscribe.